What all do we talk?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll go into it.
You're live.
You're live. Zoom and boom, everyone. Welcome to episode 41 of According to Spiky Dash. Obviously, I had not planned, and I've never had to start a stream like this, an episode with breaking news. But exactly what we have to do for the lead story in this one today, on this Tuesday, February 18th of 2020. AppleDash is joining me. We lost a major piece of our childhood today.
All of us.
All of us, not just us, the state of Indiana, the town of Monticello, really, the Midwest.
Millions of other people.
Millions.
If you can read it.
If you saw the thumbnail, if you can see it, Indiana Beach is done. It's after 94 years of operation.
That's a long time.
Yeah, since 1926, it's done. And once I first found out about it on Facebook this afternoon, it quickly unraveled as the story went on. So actually I found out about it on the News and Review, which is actually a local kind of newspaper group throughout the White County and surrounding area.
I'm wearing my Indiana Beach shirt.
And that was totally unplanned.
Yeah, unplanned at all.
Yeah, he didn't even know.
When I got up at about noon, 12:30 this morning, I just threw it on, not knowing that the story was going to break, not knowing anything. So that was a creepy look.
Right, yeah, it definitely was creepy. So I worked till 2 today, and I got home around about 2:30, maybe about 2:15, 2:30.
You were wondering that.
Yeah, and then I see this story on the News and Review page. Future of ID unclear. We have reports that Indiana Beach maintenance employees have been instructed to remove their tools and personal belongings from the park. Also, it was reported that some rides from Indiana Beach were for sale, according to industry insiders.
And I thought the maintenance crew was going because they were getting ready to open.
Right.
Like a month or two.
Right.
That's what.
Well, that's what I think everybody thought. The parent company of Indiana Beach, Apex Parks Group, no longer has Indiana Beach listed on their website. Additionally, Fantasy Island, a New York-owned park, is no longer listed on their corporate website. According to sources, maintenance workers have been told to leave the park by 2:30 today. The future is unclear of the status of the iconic Hoosier Resort. As we receive additional information, we'll report that to the public and fans of Indiana Beach. We've tried reaching officials at IB, but the phones are not being answered.
See, I thought that was the typo because it said are being answered.
Yes, yeah, they were not. They were not being answered. Yes. So that was at 2:30 this afternoon, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's obviously huge news. Not knowing the reason why and not returning the phone calls was definitely a big thing. And Apex not even having it on their website was definitely very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately then, I'm going to put that then toward the end of the ATSD stream, which is kind of added as an add-on. But then more news started popping up. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to about an hour later at 3:24, and I just kind of started searching for like Indiana Beach on Twitter. Rumors circulated that it was actually closing for good at about 3:30. Actually, the guy that ran the DT Kirby's where you worked briefly, actually posted a tweet that said, "Goodbye, Indiana Beach is the rumor."
Oh, who is that, Jake?
Probably
Stokes.
Yeah.
Stokes.
Yeah. So he tweeted that, and
we see you guys, Tabitha says.
Oh, nice. Hi, Tabby. Hi, Tabby. Hi, guys.
I don't know if your chat is open.
I disabled chat for this one because of the magnitude of the story. So
open it up. They'll chat with us.
Oh, I'm sure they will, but so at that point, again, there was no official confirmation yet, but I just said we'll see an update the story. Then fast forward to about 20 minutes later.
This is it, like 4 o'clock.
At about 3:50. Yeah, 3:50. The News and Review posted another story. IB rides for sale. Then I really start to think this is not looking promising. In the current amusement industry magazine, Amusement Today, the March issue has the Indiana Beach and Fantasy Island amusement rides for sale. Indiana Beach opened in 1926 on the shores of Lake Schaefer as a swimming and boating resort. The Earl Spatman family built the park from a simple swimming area to one of Indiana's iconic amusement attractions for over 80 years. Over the years, Indiana Beach attracted millions of fans and visitors. At one time, Indiana Beach was the leading visitor attraction in Indiana behind the Indianapolis 500. That's a telling stat.
What is that?
This is when they posted that the rides were for sale. Additionally, Indiana Beach was known for having big-time entertainment playing at the iconic ballroom. Some of those who played at Indiana Beach were the Beach Boys, Janis Joplin, Sonny and Cher, The Who, Louis Armstrong, and hundreds of others. Louis Armstrong. No, it wasn't Louis. It was Louis. It is still unclear whether Indiana Beach will be open during the 2020 summer season. So at this point, they still didn't know. We have tried contacting authorities, Indiana Beach, and Apex Parks groups. They also started contacting Apex at this point, but no one responding to our inquiries. So no one answering the phones.
So I wonder if it is just a rumor, if nobody wants to say anything.
Well, but then the actual confirmation hit.
Oh, it has been confirmed.
Yes,
okay.
This was at 4:18. And actually, I saw this from WLFI. Indiana Beach closed after 94 years. Indiana Beach closed for good, but it says here Wednesday afternoon, but even though they confirmed it today. So it'll be official tomorrow afternoon. White County Economic Development Director Randy Mitchell confirmed that Apex Parks Group decided to close Indiana Beach after a search for buyers ended unsuccessfully. So Apex was trying to sell it anyway. Apex Parks Senior Vice President Greg Borman told Mitchell the closure was strictly for financial reasons.
Couldn't afford to keep it open.
Right. Indiana Beach still has 27 employees, 15 in maintenance, and 12 in administrative roles. The future of their employment is uncertain, according to Mitchell. Mitchell also said Apex Parks closed 3 other amusement parks, probably one being Fantasy Island. It currently operates 12 parks, 9 in California and 3 in Florida. WL5 with more information becomes available.
Okay, Tabby says, okay, I understand. I wouldn't want to
read all that crap.
Matt says, wow, Spackman would be spinning in his grave.
Yeah,
yes, he would.
Yes, he would.
He would have never sold it. So, yeah, financial reasons, my butt.
The Lakeside Resort was open.
You have plenty of resources.
The Lakeside Resort was owned by the Spatman family in 1926. In February 2008, it was announced that both the amusement park and Indiana Beach campgrounds were sold to Morgan RV LLC, which was a stupid decision.
Them.
Yeah.
Even though I worked at the beach when we both worked.
We both worked when Morgan ran it. Yeah, so this is even more personal. We were a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And those were some of the best years working together we've ever had.
Yeah.
On September 1st, 2015, it was announced that the park had been sold to Apex. In 2019, a 12-year-old boy died after suffering a medical emergency on a roller coaster at the park. Investigators determined it was not caused by Indiana Beach or the ride.
Yeah.
So that was the official announcement. And then, of course, it popped up on Fox and your station WTHR, CBS4.
It's probably all over the world.
Oh yeah, by this point,
definitely all over the country.
Yeah. They started reporting it on the 5 o'clock news. So yeah, it was everywhere.
You just destroyed small town USA. Thank you, Apex. There it is. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Small town USA.
Yeah. No, they did. No, they did, dude. I don't know how Monticello is going to recover.
Do you remember I texted you, said, there goes Monticello down the street?
Yes.
That was millions, if not billions, of
tourism dollars
that Monticello and Indiana Beach were getting.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't want to cuss.
Right.
Oh, I'm so pissed. I really am.
Yeah. And then the News and Review updated their story at 4:53. Caw IB closes. After providing thrills, chills, and family memories for over 90 years, the iconic Lake Schaefer Amusement Park, Indiana Beach, is closed, according to Apex Parks Group officials. Earl Spatman opened Ideal Beach in 1926 as a boating and swimming area on the newly created Lake Schaefer in Monticello. Indiana Beach grew annually with new attractions and more visitors. The fate of the park was sealed when Apex could not find a suitable buyer for the park. Plagued with continued financial woes in the beginning in 2015 and lack of visitors to the park, Apex could not financially support the park any longer. It's reported that rides will be liquidated and assets sold.
So this has been going on since 15.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At this time, those had already purchased 2020 season passes. It is unclear whether they will be returned their money.
Well, they're fucking better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. They better.
And you know, it's even more sad.
Right.
Armando,
Yeah.
my buddy Armando.
Yes.
Had just been talking. He says, "Do you want to go to the picnic this summer? Do you want me to get passes to the beach when Indiana Packers has their picnic?" Because we went in 2019, and that's how we were able to get those good deals on the tickets.
Sure.
Our passes.
Sure.
Because we basically paid the difference, and Indiana Packers, you know, whatever. So I guess we're not doing that.
No.
Oh God.
And then WMRS also posted one more at 5:22. This one got me hard. No more will the roar of the roller coasters be heard across Lake Schaefer. It is a sad day in Monticello and White County. As the news breaks that Indiana Beach will be closing its doors, our hearts are sad for our community. We all have fond memories of summers gone by, dancing at the roof, screaming on the roller coasters, or floating the day away in the lazy river. We have a family tradition of taking a picture on the suspension bridge every year. I'm sure they weren't the only ones.
Who is this?
This is the pages that own WMRS. Kevin and Laura. We have confirmed that Indiana Beach is closed. We talked to Randy Mitchell of White County Economic Development. Apex Park Senior Vice President Greg Borman and Indiana Beach General Manager Gary Fox visited Mitchell at his office this afternoon to deliver the news in person. They are closing Indiana Beach permanently. Borman and Fox told Mitchell they've exhausted all networks and couldn't find a buyer for Indiana Beach. Apex Parks closed a total of 4 of its parks today. They still own 9 parks in California and 2 in Florida. They plan to dismantle and relocate Indiana Beach rides to those other parks. Apex Parks Group will send out a final press release in the coming weeks. The press release will include information for season ticket holders and employees. What is not clear is the status of the campground as it was operated separately. Mitchell added this was a financial business decision, and it's not easy. It's a horrible thing. Monticello is resilient.
Keep the campground open, if not for
Right.
music.
Right. Monticello is resilient, and we have a lot of things going for us. We have a great recreation area with our lakes.
Yeah, they're trying to be optimistic.
Oh, I know. They're trying to be, but
I just lost heaven. I just lost heaven on earth.
yeah, this is
me personally.
Oh, I know. This is.
I have said, and I know I've said it to you several times. Walking at the end of that suspension bridge, it's like I'm going through a time portal to my childhood.
Same.
And when I'm at Indiana Beach, when I was at Indiana Beach in the summers, nothing could touch me. I could shake off a bad breakup or family problems or whatever I was going through. I shook it off, and damn it, I could just be a 5-year-old.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
and I know heaven is going to be a lot more than we can fathom. Actual heaven, but at least while I'm on this earth, Indiana Beach was as close to heaven as I've ever been.
It was, and
up to this point.
Yeah, and for me, you know, gosh, I had the chance to really be in it, not just working, but shoot, when I lived in the lake house.
Yeah.
You know, when I had the house on the drive that loops around the south parking lot. When we lived in that house,
you heard the roar.
I heard it every time, and we'd watch the fireworks from the porch. And
yeah, I can understand why that last one got you, because you heard the roars of the roller
coaster. Oh, absolutely, and it was like at first, like when we first moved in, like when I heard it, like, and I tried to sleep through it, like I'm like, okay, I could try to sleep through the noise, but it's, you know, it's like, but as like the more I was there, like it became like soothing in a way.
Yeah,
like it was like
got used to
the more I got used to it, it became soothing. It became like cathartic.
That's just how it is.
It was just, yeah, it just became a ritual. Like you expected to hear it at that point, and it's gonna be so weird, like not having that anymore. Like being in a world where it's not there, like after all that time.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, but dude, I told you to be emotional. It's tough.
What are we gonna do with our singers now?
I know, right?
You never rode the rides, but you walked around and played the game.
I was the game guy. Yeah, I did the shopping. This is where we're talking about the good memories. I was the game guy. I will. The one game I'll probably miss the most. I will miss Fascination the most. Yeah. I will miss Fascination the most because there were not many Fascinations left in the whole country. Like, it was a very rare thing to find.
Quack.
A Fascination. Oh, and Quackers. Yes.
I will miss Quackers.
Yeah, Quackers for sure. But Fascination, I knew, somebody that actually worked there for the longest time, and every time I go into Fascination, she would greet me with a smile, say, "Hi, how you doing?" Play. She would expect me to play, and I would sit down at a table for hours and just put quarters down and play Fascination, and it was great, and I loved every minute. Even when I didn't win, it was just fun being there. And it was air conditioned. It was a place to get you away from the heat too. It was air conditioned in there.
And I kind of can't help it but to think, especially me and Sarah, I would say, kind of took it for granted.
Yeah.
We just thought it would always be there.
You do. That's the thing. You do. And it's just.
So many people. It's been there for
94 years.
So many people don't know a life, including us. But so many people don't know a life without Indiana Beach, even those that have passed on.
Right.
They never knew a life without it.
No.
Whether it was just a little bit of lake and a Ferris wheel. My mom and dad had never known a life without Indiana Beach, and they're in their 60s.
Right. No, And before the stream, I watched a video. It's actually on YouTube. You can check it out. It's actually the whole history of Indiana Beach, and I watched it. It's about 50 minutes long, and it just goes from. You watch that video, okay? So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it just goes from the very beginnings in 1926 when it was Ideal Beach all the way up to the present day, and it's going to be tough. What else am I going to miss? Of course, the skee ball. I mean, skee ball was my thing.
You're not going to miss?
Oh, I know. Skee ball. Of course, I love playing skee ball there. Boom ball. Boom ball was fun. My grandma worked at Boom Ball. Do you remember? I don't know if I've ever told you that. My grandma worked at Boom Ball.
I don't know.
Yeah. My grandma worked at, my grandma, rest her soul. She worked at Boom Ball, and so I would always go to Boom Ball, and even though I sucked at it too, I sucked at it, but gosh, it was so fun to play.
Skee ball for Matt.
Yeah.
A lack of visitors. That's messed up. Skee ball for Matt.
Are you drinking a beer?
No,
it's vanilla Coke. It's vanilla Coke. Yeah, he's drinking vanilla Coke.
We don't product place because we're not sponsored.
Right.
I can understand where you think it's beer because a lot of beer. Have you ever seen like a Miller High Life can?
Yes.
They have the color. It's vanilla Coke. I swear.
Yeah. I can vouch for it. But
although I tell you what though, after hearing this shit, I'm about to go home and drink.
Right.
Just about driving me to fucking drink. Yeah.
Right.
I'm fake crying because I don't want to real cry, even though you're probably going to see me real cry. Sorry, YouTube. Apex, I'll kick your ass.
It's a tough story. It's a sad day. And
kind of makes me want to go down to Florida just so I can beat the hell out of them, huh?
Yeah, right.
Let's hop a train to Florida.
Or California.
No, I would not go to California.
Okay, all right.
Plus, Florida's closer.
That's true. But
I guess there's always Six Flags in Chicago or Santa Claus.
Holiday World. Yeah, Holiday World.
Which I have never been to.
Well, nor have I. We've always said that we wanted to, but
yeah. And maybe now that we don't have the beach, maybe
that'd be our alternate. Yeah, that's for
sure. Screw you, Apex! You just lost our money.
Right. Exactly. And that's right there is why it's not marked not for kids. But anyway,
I do that on purpose.
Oh, I know. But gosh.
Especially, I am so glad now.
Yeah.
Now I will say this.
Okay.
Especially on this stream, I am glad you have it
not for kids.
Not safe for kids. Because I'm gonna cuss, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna rant, I'm gonna.
Right.
Ooh.
Let's see. What else? The Kentucky Derby, the Derby, the racing game. Yep. I played that game religiously.
Squirt the water and Or do you?
No, that was the one where you rolled the ball. Kind of like Fast Station, you rolled the ball and the horses moved wherever it landed.
Yeah, there's apps that do that too. Where
you
flick
yeah. Oh, that game was fun.
I
dominated that game. Like I would win like almost all the time. Like I was really good at that game.
Played.
Yeah.
And then basketballs.
The long shot. Yeah, the short shot and the long shot basketballs. Yep, all those games along the boardwalk. Yeah, those were fun. I remember the day I won finally on that long shot. It took me so many times to win, and that'll be etched in my mind that I finally won. Oh gosh, so many memories.
I'm gonna guess that meant legit for Holiday World.
Straight for Holiday World. Yeah.
Straight for Holiday World. That's how it is.
Yeah. Right. The gunboats. With the ball shooting the gunboats.
See, I never.
You never did that?
No, because I didn't like to get hit with water. I don't like getting hit with water.
Okay, but were you ever in the boats? Or were you the one shooting? See, I was always the one shooting them. I was never in the boats. Right. I was the one shooting.
The way I see it is, if I don't like getting hit, I'm not gonna hit you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was fun. Whack-a-mole. There was the whack-a-mole there in that same area.
Frankenstein's Castle.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know that's more of your thing, but.
Oh God, this is hard.
Yeah. High Striker. High Striker will always have a place in my heart because that was where I first worked at the beach when I first worked there. The Hammer. Yep, the High Striker game. Yep, that was where I first worked before I went to the game barn at the campground. And then when you came on board. But yeah, that was. He
basically got me a job.
I did. I pretty much did. Yes, I did.
I had quit KDR while the beach was still in operation.
Mm-hmm.
He says, hey, there's a guy about to get fired because the guy I replaced was thieving.
Yeah.
And I come in. I said, hey, I know. I see you're still looking for people within less than a week. They wanted oh yeah, that's right. We all worked there in one point or another. Matt worked at the restaurants.
That's right. Shack. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep, that's right. I do remember that briefly.
So but they called me and says, hey, we still need people, interview. And they basically told me you have the job once we get all our investigation done with this person.
Right.
And I remember, and Chris, I told you this story.
Mm-hmm.
I was in line for the Steel Hog.
Okay.
When I got the call, said we're going to hire you. He just quit. The guy that I was waiting for quit or something.
Yes.
And he left.
Right.
I think before they could prosecute him.
Right.
Because he was thieving.
Yes.
And in a line of maybe 200-300 people or whatever, because it was a long line, I start doing my jig.
Right.
And Happy Dance, they said, come tomorrow, start you. I remember where I was when I got that call.
Yeah.
Where I was when I got the news that they were going to interview me. I remember everything.
Right.
I remember. I don't quite remember. I don't think I remember my first ride I ever rode. I think it was the airplanes way back when in Kittyland.
Oh, in Kittyland. Yeah.
I remember the Sea Dragon. I love the Sea Dragon.
Yep.
I, of course, was the roller coaster freak.
Yeah, he was the coaster freak. Yeah.
So
you were Steel Hog, you
Hoosier
Hurricane, Cornball Express. Yeah.
Sarah rode a few of the rides with me. Even though the rides she didn't ride, she would sit and watch me just like.
I forget. Were you a fan of Music Express?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, the one that goes forwards and backwards. Yes. Yeah, that one was big. Scrambler.
And Matt was a ride operator too.
Okay.
What ride did you operate, Matt? I know you're watching. You're texting us.
Right. When they did have it briefly before they got rid of it due to its multiple errors and failures, the chaos.
I love the chaos. Until I got stuck in the air upside down. And I'm yelling.
The chaos had its share of issues.
I'm yelling and screaming, get me the hell down from here. I'm fucking working.
Right.
And I was quoting myself.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was quoting. Let's see. Tilt-A-Whirl.
Yes.
That was a
Rode
good
that
one. Yeah, the
Last year.
bumper cars, the bumper
Rode that
boats,
last year.
the Dodgem cars. The Dodgem cars were really unique. I was, found that was so surprised they lasted as long as they did, but they were unique and they lasted the test of time. Let's see, where else did I work when I was there? Oh, the Shooting Star, with the gun game. I remember when I worked that.
Oh yeah.
Shoot the star out. Yeah, with the gun. Yep, that was fun. That was neat to do each day when I was there briefly. I also remember when I did the old country western portraits. So I worked at the little portrait studio.
That might have been before.
Okay, well I did that for a while too. I worked at the little studio between the bumper cars and the ice cream place.
And me and Sarah loved the water park. She
yes.
She wasn't very much of a ride girl.
Yes.
She could fit
See,
on a lot of
when I was done gaming out, that was where I would go to relax, because the lazy river I will miss. The lazy river was bad ace. I mean, I love the lazy floating down the lazy river.
Me and Sarah would go to the beach when they opened.
Right.
Every day, and she would spend 6-8 hours at the lazy river.
Oh yeah.
And she says, you know what? I'd go to the lazy river for about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Right.
Whatever. And then when I said, I want to ride some rides, she says, you know where to find me. I'll be floating.
Right.
And I would go ride rides for 3-4 hours. She would still be either sleeping on the sand.
Right.
Or in the lazy river. And I would go to the, what's that little bar place right off the water park?
Oh, gosh.
Not the roof.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Well, Ivy Brew. Beach Brew.
Yes. Yeah. Right underneath the sky room.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I would go there, have my little wine coolers, whatever. She would meet me. I mean, we just have.
Oh, the log ride. Yeah. Rockies Rapids.
Oh,
yeah. The Rockies Rapids log flume. When you were guaranteed, even when you weren't on that ride, if you walked past that, you were guaranteed to get wet.
Yeah.
Because that flume was so powerful.
Oh, yeah. Like, hurricane, tilt-a-whirl.
The cornball. Okay, so he worked pretty much all in that general area.
Yeah.
So yeah. The log flume, if you walk past that, you would get wet. Another one that I just remember that I worked briefly. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I mentioned the Scrambler.
Me and Sarah used to always like to ride the Scrambler.
I forget what the name of the game was called, but it was the one where it was right when you came into the entrance of the park. It was by where you went into the hurricane, the cornball. It was that game where you had to shoot something and you had to get to the top of the lights, and the light was top. Yeah. It was like top something. I forget what it's called, but I worked that briefly too. It was something like that. Yeah. So I worked that for a couple times too. And that was fun. So yeah, it just, let's see what else. I mean, of course, the Skyrim and the Skyrim and the roof I'll definitely miss. I mean, the Skyrim had such good food. Oh, it was, anytime I went there to eat, it was so good. It was just, and then the view was awesome. And then watching bands play up in the roof.
I was just going to say going to concerts at the roof.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's see. We saw Gypsy Revival there a time or two.
Yes.
I saw our buddy Mike Sanson play with Ezra.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. I don't, but I know you went to that.
Yeah,
yes.
He was. Yeah. He would sit in with Ezra, another band we like.
Yep. He'd
play.
Yep. Of course, when you worked there at DT Kirby's, you got that view all the time.
Well, I was in the kitchen.
Well, yeah, but still, coming out, you could see everything from up there.
I would go Burger Shack Restaurant, 2009 season. Top Gun for game.
Okay.
I'd remember getting off of work, and if it wasn't too late, I would go for my end of shift drink, or I would go, if I worked an early shift and was off at 2 and Sarah wasn't off till 6.
Right.
I would go ride rides for 3-4 hours if I wasn't too tired or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so even when I worked there, it was.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Of course, the sky ride where you could go across, on the swing on the chairs across from one end to the other.
She loved it. I hated it.
You
I
hated
always
it.
felt unsafe on it.
I was
going to slip off.
Right.
So I was always terrified.
Speaking of Sky, the Sky Coaster.
Which I got to ride my one time.
Oh, did you? Have you told me this story?
Last year.
Oh, you go last year. Okay. I don't think
year.
you told me this story. I didn't
Sarah.
know. Okay.
I convinced Sarah to let me ride, and what had happened was, I guess I haven't told you this.
No, you have not.
See, what had happened was, in my best Angela Johnson, that sucked. But
what had happened was.
what had happened was,
right.
We were at the Burger Shack.
Okay.
Me and Sarah were talking, and I was trying to convince her to ride the bungees with me.
Mm-hmm.
Free ride pass with every paycheck was, let's see, Matt just texted me.
Oh, okay.
Free ride pass with every paycheck was the best perk.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I think we can all vouch for that. The story about the Sky Coaster, yes.
And as we're talking, I hear a table next to us talking about how fun the Sky Coaster is. So I'm talking to these complete strangers here. And another thing, Indiana Beach brought complete strangers together.
Yes.
So
yes.
Like, freaky, whatever.
Yes.
I would never seek people out on the street and just randomly come and talk to them. But when you're waiting 45 minutes for a ride, you get to know people.
Yes, for sure.
So anyway, and that has to do with my story. So we get to talking. I get to talking with this group of people that I'd never met in my life. We end up striking a deal that we'll go, equal parts to ride the Sky Coaster. I'll pay 20,
right.
You pay 20, he
right.
pay 20, whatever. So yeah, I got to ride the Sky Coaster with like 3 other people that I had never met in my life that day. I don't know from Adam. It was funny because what they do is they take you up and you are
you're essentially locked into this thing.
You're on your belly.
Yeah.
Waiting for the thing to be pulled.
Right.
And we're all shouting our last I love yous just in case one of the cables break. But I'll never forget it. They had some weird people from all walks of life.
Of the world.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
I'll never forget it. It was like 3 people running it the night that we went.
Yeah.
And we're all freaking out because either we had never ridden it or been a long time,
right.
For the other 2 or
Sure.
And they were saying how safe the ride was. I'll never forget this. She says she looks at us and she laughs, and in her thick Jamaican accent, she says, "You'd have to be the size of a whale to get these cables to snap mount. You would have to be the size of a whale."
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah. That thing can handle 9,000 pounds.
I believe it.
And you ain't going to get human beings to weigh 9,000 pounds.
No.
They don't even exist.
Right, exactly.
Even if you put 4 people, that weigh 500 pounds each.
Right.
But yeah, it was just so funny. So when we're strapped in, they hoist us up, I love you, Sarah. I love you. And I love you, whoever.
Right.
We're all sitting there, our last I love yous. And I go, yeah, okay, I'm ready. Clink. Because
it's quick.
I was not expecting when the guy pulled, I was not expecting it. But I tell you what, people that have ridden that before say you are lighter than air. They aren't lying. They aren't lying. Because when it swings you like this, and when you get here to the top and you start falling, it's like gravity does not exist. When you're going up and it stops you and then swings back, you do not exist at its apex.
Right. Right on, this is the mine shaft. Oh, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Lost Coaster Superstition Mountain.
Oh yes.
Yes. Yeah. That ride.
Superstition Mountain. Oh my God. Who needs a chiropractor?
Right.
Who needs a chiropractor when you get off that son bitch?
6-degree banking turns is what they say in that video. Yeah, it is. They are tight.
And,
that car shakes you. Yes. Yeah.
I love it here.
Yeah. That thing
Sarah right
was.
beside me. I hate you. Why did I let you?
It was a coast. It was a coaster of beauty, but a pain in the ass at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And the thing of it was, like, when it was working, the line was ridiculously long because there's only the one car that fits 8 people.
Yeah.
And then when it was down, you knew it was down. it was either.
Nobody was there.
Right.
It just
exactly.
So
it was one or the other. Like there was no middle ground for Superstition Mountain. But yeah, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about that because that was like one of the iconic things. One thing that they
every time you got on and off.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, because to be like, oh, I can't, like you're shaking, I can't feel my body, be like, like that.
Oh, I could feel my body. It straightens my back every time I rode that bitch.
Right. Did you ever ride Zero G?
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I definitely will remember. It wasn't there long because that was more of an Apex thing. But
did you ride it?
No, I did not ride Zero G.
Yeah. Never sit on the ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Paratrooper. Yeah. Yeah. There's the Paratrooper. I remember that one. That was right by the Scrambler.
And we would also be remiss if we didn't talk about this.
Okay.
Rest in peace to the Schaefer Queen.
Oh yes. Yes. Yeah. That.
Sarah and I.
Every
time we went.
That was the oldest boat given those tours, like either in the state or in the country. One of the two. I know the video mentioned it, but yeah, it was
Flying Dragon when I was a kid, the Sea Dragon.
Oh, the Sea Dragon, yes, yeah. Yeah, of course I would never ride it, but I was like entranced by the dragon. The way it went up and then that. Like
you feel like you're flying if you're sitting on the end.
Yeah, I'm just like like are you like oh my gosh, like my jaw dropped every time I watch that ride. That was something.
You rode a couple with us.
No, the one that went on the field trip was the Air Crow.
Yeah,
I will miss the Air Crow.
Yeah.
That was the first ride I ever rode there, and that was so fun. And the only problem with the Air Crow was that there was signs all around: no snapping, don't make the cable snap. You couldn't help it; it was hard to prevent because of the way it was designed.
Yeah.
So they keep calling out as you're riding, no snapping, no snapping. Like, I don't even know what snapping is. I'm trying to control the thing. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm having fun controlling the crow, and it's like, how can you not snap? Because they're so close to each other. Yeah. It's like the water swings,
The swings.
Those things are close to each other. They mentioned as much on the video, like how or one of the videos I reviewed, one of the reviewers that reviewed the park, you're bumping into each other and hitting people
when you stop and when you start.
Yeah,
especially when you stop.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same. It was the same concept. So, but it was fun though. I get off that Air Crow and I'm like, oh yeah, I was like in a state of nirvana,
almost like you're drunk.
Yeah, I was dizzy, but it was a fun dizzy. It was a fun dizzy. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about when they had it, the ski show. See, Morgan kept it. Apex got rid of it.
Yeah.
But
Jimmy Nidagger.
Oh yes.
On the mic.
Yep. And it was just it was so good. Even though you knew kind of what it was going to have because mostly the same stuff every time, it was still fun to watch.
Yeah, well,
it was still fun to watch and see. Also, of course, the iconic taco shop when it was there. That was.
I made reference to the Scrambler. They said you guys can't forget the Scrambler. I made reference.
We both
to
did.
it.
Yeah, we both did. Yeah, we both talked about the Scrambler.
That was one of the few rides that Sarah could ride with me on, and she made me do it every time.
Right. Yeah.
And I damn near puked every time.
Oh god!
And then getting the souvenir bottles.
Yep.
We got the souvenir bottles. I think you did one year when you had
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
99-cent refills all summer long. Hey, can't beat that.
No.
Uh-huh.
And even though I didn't go as often as you guys, I still appreciate when you guys got me the season pass, because when you did invite me, I appreciated that.
Yeah.
When they started doing that.
We would play games all the time, and we would meet up for lunch or something.
Yep.
Taco shop, burger shack.
Or the Piranha Pup stand or what have you.
I love Piranha Pup.
Yeah.
And corn dogs.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I will miss those.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They had a proprietary breading that was just so good. You can't get another corn dog like this.
Right.
I don't know what they'll do now, but
Right.
You can't get another.
The Tiger restaurant and the Tiger coaster.
When it was open. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was still there even in last 2019 because there was a video showing it. But now the one they got rid of eventually was the Galaxy, and the Galaxy was like the first coaster they ever had.
Yeah.
And it was iconic.
I still rode the Tiger as late as last year.
Right.
Because you know what? That's a reconnect with my childhood.
Right.
Again.
Right. Yeah.
I think Sarah rode it too with me.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't like it because it's another one that would rearrange your back.
Yes, because it's very small. It's very tightly packed.
Very bumpy in points.
Speaking of the coasters, though, what? Just kind of going along with that. But what always impressed me, and I get that vibe from just watching that video, is how they were able to build them like intertwining each other.
Oh.
Like I couldn't believe that. Like when they were building I'll never forget it because I was at Lake House when they were building the cornball. I'm looking at it every day going, how the heck are they squeezing that in there?
They did.
Like, because Ruth Davis says, don't tell Mr. Spatman something that can't be done because he proved that it could. And when I'm seeing that cornball go up, I'm thinking they actually fucking did it. They actually got it in there, intertwined into the hurricane. And I always
you're going under the cornball
and from my house I could see it going over the fucking treetops. Like that will always stick with me in my head. Like the cornball's going over the treetops. Yeah. And then going right into that helix thing.
That first hill when you're looking in the front seat.
Yeah.
I would always try to get the front on the Hoosier Hurricane or the cornball. And I will always remember when you go around that first hill, it dips you down kind of like that. Mm-hmm. When it goes into that little circle, but you're going straight down, and it stops you at the top of the hill. You're like, oh, hell. It basically takes you straight down.
Right.
It's like, so you're looking straight. I'm like, shit.
and of course, the neatest part of the hurricane was the part where you went under the suspension bridge.
Yes.
And I find this hilarious too from that video. Spatman said because
Steel Hog was the same way. Yes, it was.
Steel Hog was the same way. Yes, it was.
Straight down before.
Yes, it was. But with the hurricane, Spatman says in the video, he says, Tom, he says, I was one of the first ones to ride the coaster when it opened, and we all ducked. Like when we went to see that bridge, like we all ducked. Like because you don't think how you're going to clear that because it's so low.
Even like there's times even as early as last year, I would have my hands up for the whole ride, but you
quickly have to lower them when you get to that bridge.
And you don't really because even if you have your hands straight up, you're still not going to hit it.
But it's enough of a gap. The optical illusion
that you're going to crash into. It's like
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot that every year when I rode that the first time in the summer. It's like, okay, I forgot how close that was. That's all freaky. I need a new change of underwear. I get off that ride. I go over to Sarah with a deer in the headlights look in my face, and she says, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I said, I just pissed my pants.
Right.
I would dribble every time. I would almost pee my pants.
Right.
Going under that damn extension bridge.
Yes. Suspension, not extension.
Oh, well, suspension.
Yes.
Bridge. I'll never forget almost feeling like you got to puke every time you go across that thing when there was a bunch of people because you could feel it both.
Oh yeah, you could feel it. You could feel it. You knew you were safe because the way it was built, but like you just every time you felt you felt it walking, and it's like just a little bit of trepidation, just a little bit.
You either felt it going this way
Yeah.
Or this
Or just
way.
straight up and down. Exactly.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. It was.
That's a little freaky deep.
It was a trip. Yes, it
me
was.
off of here.
Right. Oh, what else? Oh, when they added the double shot and the frog hopper at the end. Yep, at the end of the boardwalk or the water park.
I think I rode the double shot last year too. So I did a lot last year that I don't normally do. I'm kind of glad now that we know this. I'm kind of glad I did.
Well, yeah, for sure. Now looking back, yeah, because I mean, granted, at the time you didn't think, oh, it's going to be the last year, but yeah, now looking back, yeah.
They did a summer concert series last year, and me and Sarah went to see Seven Bridges, which is an Eagles cover band.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to see another one, I forget. I know for a fact that the Eagles weren't the only Eagles cover band.
Well, no, because they had several throughout the year,
Yeah.
throughout the summer. So yeah, there was definitely a lot. But
it was, or maybe the Eagles cover band was the only one. So I don't know. But they were good.
Let's see, what else are we leaving out? Oh, the shooting gallery next to Frankenstein's castle, with the shooting of the ghouls. Yeah, I remember that.
Shoot the ghoul.
Yep, I remember that. I'm trying to think if we've covered the whole boardwalk at this point. I think that pretty much runs. Of course, can't forget the Ferris wheel. I can't,
Where was that place? The Mario's Summer Sausage.
That was at the end of the boardwalk. That was right. It was ski show was at the end before the water swings. Yep, that was at that end.
That was good.
Yep. I'm trying to think. It was fairly new, but the zip line. The zip lining adventure thing.
Yeah,
with the zip line when it was there. It wasn't there very long, but yeah, the zip line.
I went on the zip line.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And then another one we're missing. I don't know how the hell we missed this one, but
the train. Yes, the iconic train. Yep. Yeah.
Sarah and I rode that
many times. You ride the train.
Every time we were there.
Yep.
She says, "We're riding the train, and you're doing it with me. Damn it."
Right.
In her own way.
Yes.
Okay.
Many times.
I'll ride the train basically because I want to get late tonight. Yeah. So I'll keep you happy.
And with the train, you could see a lot of the park. You went through Kittyland. You went through where
under the suspension bridge, under the tunnels.
Yep. Around the mini golf course that was there.
Oh yeah.
So, yep. That was I'm trying to think. I think that.
We would ride the whole thing. Like we would get on.
Right. Right. The whole route. Yeah.
And we would ride back and get off where we got on. We would ride there and back.
Right.
Because they had two, at both ends, they had loading stations.
Mm-hmm.
But Sarah's like, I don't want to get off. I want to ride where,
Right.
I see you got your Indiana Beach crew.
Yeah. Gosh, when did I buy that in the shop? That had to have been the year you bought me the season pass. That had it. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, because we went to the shop like toward the end, and I wanted to get. I didn't have anything beach anything or Ivy Crow anything, and so I thought, I'm gonna find something. I said, no, I'm going big. I'm going big or going home. I'm getting the biggest one. So
going with family.
Yeah.
Going with.
Oh yeah.
Going with. See, when my buddy Armando, he took us on the Indiana Packers picnic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was him, his girlfriend, my brother and his wife and their kids, and me and my wife.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that, like
we all
when you and I worked at the campground at the game barn. You knew when the big picnics were in town and the corporate outings. Like you knew.
Yes, we did.
You knew because the lot you could see from our vantage point, you could see the south lot and you could see how full it was. And then you could see those people coming over to play games at the arcade.
Like good
and mini golf. And
it's like good. I would come in when he's working in the morning. Good God, what's going on? He says, we're about to get hell.
Oh yeah. We knew.
Really?
Because we had a calendar posted in the barn of when people were coming.
And it's going to be hell today.
Yeah.
Like, oh, really? He says, yeah. Indiana Packers is in town.
Yep. Yep. It was them and one other name that came over. I forget their name, but.
And I will never forget a couple of things when we were working there.
Yep.
We had the rocket competitions. The
rockets. Yep. The finger rockets.
When we're working on a Tuesday
during the weeks, it was boring.
Even in the summer,
it was dead. Yeah, it was dead.
It was dead to the point where we would go over to Andrea in the mini golf. And can we play golf? And she would let us play the whole course.
Yes.
We would not see a soul for that whole time.
No. Yeah. So we'd do that. We'd fire the finger rockets off. We would play with the little prizes in the display case, do whatever.
And then we got free reign of the games.
Right.
We couldn't spend our tickets, but we could give.
Yeah, we could give them away.
Tickets
because we had cool cash cards too, which is what they used during the time that Morgan owned it.
But we could use our badges.
Yes, and we could use our badges as well. Yes.
And then, sniffing the fireball container.
Oh god, yes. I did. the cinnamon.
Yes,
dude, you could get a high off that stuff. And Jeff, I think, told us that. Jeff would tell us that every time.
He would come dragging in after working a double the night before, because believe me, we did.
Yes.
12.
Yes.
And I'd run in the back.
Yeah.
Pop.
Guys, need to wake up.
Need to wake up.
Okay. Yes, I will. Yes, that.
Okay, I can
that was
breathe.
not forgotten. Yes.
And then a couple, instances. Actually, I got 3.
Okay.
That I will never forget.
Yeah.
I was working the golf course by myself, in the arcade by myself.
Okay.
In these 3, but 2 on the golf course and 1 in the arcade.
Okay.
And I think I've told you all
you probably have told me all these stories.
But,
yes.
Which ones do you want to hear first? Golf course or arcade?
Do the arcade story first.
Okay, the arcade. Oh, beautiful. There was a family there.
Okay.
And we had keys to the claw.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we had keyed almost everything.
Family there. It was a mom and a dad and maybe an aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever, with a little girl in the stroller.
Aww.
Just spending money, just trying to get something for this little 2-year-old girl, 2-year-old girl.
Right.
And just dropping money. They spent a ton trying to get an animal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna let this little adorable
go home with nothing.
I'm not going to let them go home disappointed.
Right.
That was one of the things that TJ, and everybody told us is make it so they want to come back.
Yes.
Give them
a reason.
Give them an experience that they will say,
yes,
I'm coming back to that place.
Yes.
So I get my key. I'm like, fuck this. I ain't going to let them go home disappointed. Popped it open. I was able to give a little octopus thing to this little girl in the stroller. And she's looking at me like, who the hell are you? But I go, here you go. And she's looking scared.
Right.
But, they knew I was okay. It's like, I'm a worker here.
Right.
Because we're in an Indiana Beach show. It's not some.
Yeah, we're
it's not some creepy ass pedophile.
No.
So I'm like, so I handed it to her. I said, I'm not going to let this little girl go home with nothing.
Right.
I told him, I saw how much money you were spending and you were trying. I'm not going to let her go home disappointed. Tears in their eyes. They started crying.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
that's awesome.
And then the 2 golf
stories, yes.
The arcade was dead. And I had somebody else, I think it was Jeff.
Yeah.
Working the arcade with me. And I saw a family walking their poodle while they were golfing. I walked up. I said, you know what, guys? You just have fun. You just don't worry about nothing. Give me the dog. I reached over. I took the dog. I said, I'll walk the dog. You just enjoy yourselves. Again, balling.
Wow.
and they let me walk their dog through the rest of the course.
That's so cool.
And of course, I stayed with them.
Right, of course,
I didn't want them to think I was taking their dog. But,
right.
And they flat out told me, they said, this is one of the most enjoyable experiences we have ever had. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. You did not have to walk our dog. We would have just handed him off, to the next person.
Right.
I said, no, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to be able to focus on being here and having fun and just take that worry off their mind.
Right.
And then another one I'll never forget, and probably my most fulfilling.
Okay.
All the stories were fulfilling.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, giving the little girl the stuffed animal and walking the dog. But my most fulfilling, because, people that have watched my commentaries before, and people that have watched our shows. I just about said my shows.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's his channel, but
right.
Y'all know that I'm really patriotic, and of course Chris knows it because he's been my friend for life.
Yes.
I saw a family on the golf course, and I saw a guy in fatigues. Military uniform.
Okay.
And I was able to talk to the soldier, and he said he's on a little bit of leave, a weekend leave or a week leave, before he either went to he had been in basic, and he's on leave before he gets shipped across the pond. And I went over to Andrea. I said, "Soldier, what do we do?" Because she was a military person. Andrea was.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Do we do anything for military? What can I do? Because I'm going to do something for this guy."
Right.
And I said, "Hey, soldier, here's a free mini golf pass. Come back if you got time. Use it. Whatever." I gave him a salute.
Right.
And he said, "Thank you." That to me, that was my most fulfilling.
Right.
And you never know. You never know who you're going to touch. You never know who you're going to make an impact in their life. But I would pray, and I'm sure he's the same way. If anybody watches this, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of postings on Indiana Beach.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's all over Facebook, all over Twitter.
If anybody, watches this, we hope, I think I can speak for Chris here when I say this, but we hope that we have given you good memories.
Oh, yes.
If you remember, if you're ever watching this video and you remember either of us, and that who's that one little girl that always come and talk to you? Brown-haired little girl.
Oh, yeah. I know. I forget her name, but I definitely remember her face. Olivia. Yep.
Yeah.
And you remember Ben?
Yes.
Ben would play pool against me.
Yes.
Ben would play pool. We'd always play pool, and I will never forget Ben. Yeah, Ben and I always played pool, and
but we had
it's the campers that came year after year that were fulfilling to me.
We had families, and we had kids.
Yeah.
That would ask for us.
For us specifically. Oh, yes.
Is Chris here? Is Nate here? Andrea or Jeff or anybody else we worked with says, "Oh, so-and-so was asking when you work next because they liked talking to you the last time."
It's that kind of impact you want to make.
We would play games with the kids, work with us, play with us, job fair. What the
Yeah, that's still on their if that's still on their Facebook, I'm surprised. Yeah, they were gonna have one at the end of the month. If that's still on their Facebook, I'm surprised.
And another thing was, and Mom, I guess, found this, they couldn't get enough workers to keep it open.
Right.
Nobody wanted to work there.
Right.
I don't
know.
But it was just so much,
Yeah.
Oh, so-and-so was asking. Oh, and another thing, do you remember, and I know we both had this experience, when they would cash in their tickets and be 5 short of the piece of candy they wanted. They would hang their heads as
We gotcha. We had that sheet. Yep, we had the sheet with the amounts on it.
Yeah.
And we would say, we got this. We'd hook them up.
We got 1,000 tickets on our cards that we can't use.
Right.
It's like, why can't you use them? Badge.
Yeah.
We were able to get cool cash cards.
Yes. Yeah.
Our personal stuff.
Yes.
But we could take tickets on our badges.
Yes.
Because as employees, you have to make sure all the games work.
Right. Yes, you do. Yeah.
Even though that wasn't.
And if one didn't, we had to radio TJ and tell him, "Hey, this game doesn't work."
Even though that wasn't part of our job description, because that was maintenance.
Right.
They kind of tongue in cheek turned.
Right. But
Yeah,
right.
I see nothing.
Right. I see nothing. I know nothing.
But yeah, and when they were five tickets short, we'd either give them the tickets we had on our cash cards or give them the tickets we had on our badge.
Right.
And you know what? There is no greater feeling to me than to see a 5-year-old go from to.
Right. Exactly. That was the those are the fulfilling things.
And then
that was. And
then especially with Chris, I'm sure you remember a time or two where I would have to go in the back because when I touch somebody like that, when I make them feel good,
and you got emotional.
It makes me feel good, and I get emotional just to see, I just made an impact on that little girl's life or that little boy's life that they may remember, they may not, but I like to think when that 5-year-old is in his 20s or 30s, they would be able to look back fondly and say, a worker gave me one of the best summers of my life. Even if they don't remember me by name.
Right.
It's just, I remember, one summer I worked there was 2 guys there, and he gave me 5 tickets so I could get my piece of candy.
Right. It sticks with you.
I would at least hope that it would stick
yes.
with them, all the people we interacted with. And, you know, they have the same fond memories that we do.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I would go in the back and have my cigarette or, you know, spend about 5 minutes crying my eyes out.
Right.
And then I'd come back all puffy and it's like, you did something, didn't you? Yeah. What'd you do?
And then you tell me the story.
Gave a 5-year-old tickets so he could buy a piece of candy, made him so happy. He would have to go for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Because that was the fulfilling thing.
Did you ever
for me.
Did you ever give free food to someone who couldn't afford it?
Nah, I don't think we went that far.
He might have. Do you remember my custom milkshakes when I worked at Burger Shack? Not so much.
But yeah. But I remember he made them, but I don't think I ever had one. But yeah.
And I would get, you know, we would get perks when he was working. He'd slide us a burger or slide us some fries.
Yeah. I'm glad we segued into the campground because.
And I remember you getting Charlie, Matt, if you're still watching, you probably are, but I remember you getting Charlie fired.
Yeah.
The guy that I had so much trouble at Arby's.
Yes.
Matt reported him for taking too many breaks and got him canned, so I got my revenge through.
Right. but I'm glad that you segued into the campground because that campground like evolved so much over the years. Like it really did. Even when we didn't work there. I remember
when it was NASCAR.
Well, yeah, but before that, remember, and it's still the international theme, but remember when we had the flags?
Yeah.
We had all the international flags on the poles.
Yeah, I think I do.
And then after a while, and then once Morgan bought it, they took those down. But because each hole was unique where it had its own country. Each country was its own hole, which made it really unique and really cool. And I like the course. Like, it was a challenge, but, like, once I played it more, like, I got better at it. And like, if you took me on that course, you usually did not win.
Nope.
Like, I was a shark on that course. Like, so.
Hey, Nate, you want to play mini golf with me? Hell no.
All right. You'll kick my ass.
You go play by your damn self.
I will miss that mini golf course. I will. I definitely will. Because it was fun. It always was. Let's see. What was... Worst hole, was probably that one toward the end, I think it was France. It was that 16th hole where you had to go up either one hill or the other hill, and then you had like 2 holes, and there was another hole, and then it spit out down the bottom. I hated that hole.
I did too.
I got like a 5 or 6 on it every time. I could never master that hole. That hole sucked. Favorite?
One. For me, it was
the very first one.
For me, it was either Arizona, the cactus,
or
like the first one because it was easy.
I liked Greece, that second one, because I can get a hole in one on that almost every time.
Yep.
Like if you hit that triangle on the side just right, boom, and it bounced ricocheted, went right.
I got good on the first 9.
Yeah, first 9 is probably easier than the back.
I always played the first 9 when I worked there.
Yeah.
I would play the first 9. Andrea would, it's Andrea, please, can I play some mini golf? It's fucking dead.
Right.
We would get so bored.
We would.
I would get so bored. TJ had to yell at me. I don't know how many times because I'd fall asleep.
Right.
And do you remember when we worked there, they actually had games?
Oh yeah. Toward the end, it was all
video games.
Well, that's because a lot of the older ones were breaking down all the time.
But when we worked there, most of the games were ticket games. And do you remember the the bells and the?
Oh well, yeah, whenever they made a sound,
Whack the aliens.
Oh yeah, don't hit red aliens. Yep. I love that.
I recorded that. It's on my other phone. And I even sing the theme song. I
love that.
There's more than corn in Indiana.
It's
Indiana Beach. Yeah. I was so bored that day.
Right.
I don't know what to do. So I would walk around.
Let's see. What did we have in that arcade? We had the kind of like the wheel with the cyclone where it stopped on the dot.
Yeah.
The one that was surprised survived the longest was Pop-A-Ball. I love that Pop-A-Ball machine in there. I love playing Pop-A-Ball in there. That was fun. Smoking Token was in there. What else? We of course had the claw machine that he mentioned. The Big Buck Game Hunter was in there. Let's see.
The Terminator
one. Yep.
And Jeff would always
he would go to town on that. Yep. Time Crisis, I remember that one was in there. Although that one was down sometimes. The motorcycle one was in there. Cruising USA. I would play that one all the time.
Racing.
I love Cruising USA.
The motorcycles were mine.
Okay.
I think there was the motorcycle.
Of course, I would always go for the high score on the basketball.
Yes.
On the Papa Shot.
I always sucked.
Yep. We had a mini little skee ball in there. We had like I think we had 5 or 6 skee ball in there, and we had little ski toss for the kids.
Yeah.
We had little ski toss.
Speaking of which,
another
story on
sure.
The office to the campground where we would clock in with our fingers.
Yep. Absolutely.
Was clear across.
It was clear down. Like it's down this road where you have to go past the barn and the golf course, past the little mini water park that was briefly there.
Yeah.
Past all of that. Yep.
Can't forget the basketball. We just referenced that.
Bank shot. You cannot forget bank shot basketball.
We loved bank shot.
We loved bank shot basketball.
But anyway,
it was so much fun.
There was one day my mom called, says, "Are you working?" "Yes, Mom, I'm working. I got to get off the phone or I'll get in trouble." I was kind of because I was on the clock. You could not really be on your phone. I mean, if there was nobody.
There was no one there. Yeah, as long as you didn't get caught. Right.
As long as we didn't get caught.
Right.
And she says, "Dang, boy, don't be so bitchy. I'm bringing your nephew." And he was like 4 at the time.
Right.
So I come out of the office. I'm going back to my post, which I think was the arcade, and I hear this. "Uncle Nate!" He takes off like a bullet. I'm worried that he's because he's in shorts and his little kid flip-flop sandal.
Right.
I'm like freaking out because he's gonna skin his knee because he was just walking at that time.
Sure.
And he had just learned how to run. I'm like, he is gonna bang himself up, and he flew from about a foot. He jumped in.
Oh my goodness!
He almost knocked me over.
Right.
Oh, hi, AJ. Nice to see you too, buddy.
Right.
I had to catch him out of the air because he he like projectile did a Superman and
Right.
like, hi buddy, how you doing? And I remember playing Little Dino. You made reference to the little ski ball.
Oh, ski toss. Yeah, little ski toss. Well, it was
the
ski
Dino
toss.
Something.
There's ski toss BC, and then there was the ice balls too. Remember the ice balls?
No. The ski toss BC is
that was one. Did we have that, or did we have the ice balls only?
We had the BC.
Did we have the BC? Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking the BC was at the main part, and we had the ice balls.
Nope.
Okay.
Reverse.
Okay.
Because I remember playing the ski toss BC where the little kiddies would always get five
no,
tickets.
the ice balls was like with the tic-tac-toe.
Yes.
We had that one too. Yeah. That one never worked.
And my nephew, he just smiled ear to ear, and he bawled his head off when they had to leave because, of course, I was working.
Right.
And he always thought at 2 or 3 years old, oh, we're gonna go see Uncle Nate, and he thought I was gonna leave with him.
Right.
But I was like, I'm sorry, I have to work, AJ. You know, and I said, thank you, Mom, for bringing him in.
Right.
I love that little guy.
Right.
I still do. He's 8 now, 8, 9.
Right.
And of course, I still love him, but you know, I'll just never forget that memory.
Even though all the times I played bank shot, like I will always remember my reaction. Like I'm looking at each of these ones, and I'm going like, how in the hell am I going to make this? You know, like it's just, every time, like it was just so like I'm looking at these, like I read the instruction, like how to do it, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like,
how could we forget? Sorry.
Okay.
How could we forget the flying bobs?
Oh yeah, the flying bobs. Yes, yeah.
Tabby says the flying bobs are the Music Express.
Yeah, we mentioned Music Express. Yeah, Music Express. That was always fun to watch. But yeah, the flying bobs.
Ha, which I had plenty of experience on whacking. Adult.
Yes.
Adult, Matt. I know this isn't made for kids. Damn, boy.
Right. Yeah. But no.
I have plenty of experience on whacking. Oh.
But no, bank shot was just so fun. There were so many different holes. How bank shot works is you had 3 spots at each station. Basket, at each basket. And you got 2 attempts at each one, and then you pointed out like it was like 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point or something like that.
Yeah.
And you'd go to each station. And I'll never forget the day I finally made the last one, the black hole.
Ugh.
That one. Like, because there's one, because you have to hit 8 each one to get it to go in. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then it goes in.
Yeah.
Like, and you had to hit each one exactly right. And when I finally made it, I'm doing like a run around like Jim Abad. I'm like, I finally made it. You know.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So
yes.
And then after they converted to NASCAR RV resorts, which is when we were there.
You took it the wrong way. Oh, bull crap.
Yeah. Right. Then it was NASCAR resort, so they had
plenty of experience on whacking.
Yeah, Matt's perverted mind.
How are you gonna, asshole?
But then there was NASCAR RV resorts. They tied it in with the NASCAR theme, and they would live stream the NASCAR races on Sundays. So we had big crowds on the weekends
with the ping pong balls. He remembers like a lily pad game.
Okay, I vaguely remember that.
The Wabash Express for the train.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing. Speaking of the trains, do you remember we had the little train for the kids at the campground?
Yes. The little pedal train.
Little pedal. Yep. We didn't get a whole lot of people on that, but we did. You did? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I remember that. Yep.
I at least got one. Like when I worked the golf course, I would at least get one a day.
Right. Remember when the water park always had issues over there too? It was always either down or not working or something was up with it. It was, so it really didn't last. But the NASCAR theme was okay. I don't think it was like immensely popular, but.
When there are times when, I remember this, there are times when like I would come in early and you would come in a little later and see me absolutely just janked up because there was free pop.
Yes.
At the golf course, they had a little booth there. And
working the golf booth was fun. Like that was, I mean, on some days working the golf booth was more fun than working the arcade. Like it was just so much fun.
Oh. Whose first ride was the kiddie plane, Matt or Tabby?
Oh, the kiddie plane.
It's Matt texting on Teddy's
Okay.
phone. Kitty Planes.
Yeah.
Kitty Planes was, I think Kitty Planes is
Mine,
the first one
actually?
I remember.
You remember Winky the Whale?
Vaguely.
That was mine. Yeah, that was mine. So yeah, in Kittyland. Yep. So, but
we spent an hour and 15 minutes talking just the beach.
Well, that's how much it meant to us.
No idea what else you were planning on talking about, or
No, I know. I have more topics, but I didn't think. I figured we'd go kind of long on that, but it's like that's why it's the lead story. That's how much it meant to us, and like I said, it's gonna feel so weird.
He says I was too big for Winky.
Okay, yeah. Because Winky, you really had to fit in that. Like it was pretty tight. You had to make sure you could fit.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be just so weird. Like I'm sure when Apex starts dismantling those rides, there'll be people taking pictures. It'll be like so hard to see. That. Oh, I know.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it'll be just so odd, like not seeing it. So
I'll end it with "Hello, Holiday World." You're gonna get a shit ton more.
No, they are. No, they definitely are. They guarantee.
I don't even know how far Santa Claus, Indiana is.
It's down south. I mean, it's. I don't know if it's like a long drive, but I know it's way south of here. But yeah, my big thought now
we'll actually
is
have an excuse to weekend it up.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, but my big thought now is like, what is Monticello gonna do? Like I just don't know like how they're gonna survive.
Well, they're not gonna have to close the bowling alley anymore.
No, yeah, that's gonna get a ton of business too. I mean, sure, like that's one prime example. Like other things, I'm sure will get business, but it will not be on the same level as what the beach had. So
from here,
3.5 hours.
No. Not from here. Maybe from.
That's about the drive to Cincinnati.
So why not just go to fucking Kings Island?
Right. But yeah.
From Logansport is 3.5 hours.
Right.
Shit.
The thing. Here's the thing. The thing that made the beach great in its heyday was when the Spatmans ran it. The free parking in the lots. You didn't have to pay to just walk around, or do anything else. It was the pay one price system.
Yeah.
You could, if you want to do the rides or the combo ride and water, there was just either way.
And like if you had season passes, though it wasn't too terrible because if you got season passes,
well, yeah,
there was season pass only parking lots up close.
Morgan just screwed it up because they didn't know how to run a bucket amusement park. When Morgan bought it, all they wanted was the campground because that was
free admission if you were a local,
right? But that went out the window. But yeah, but I said that's when the downfall I think started when Morgan bought it because
they let it go to shit.
They did. They changed too much. They didn't know how to run. They didn't know how to run an amusement park because they only wanted the campground.
Apex had to sink a ton of money in.
They did at first. When they first bought it in 2016, yes, they heavily marketed it. But then it mentioned in one of the videos, once their once their CEO and the park was bought died, and then the new people took over, they stopped putting money into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really when, and they tried to make up for it by, jacking up the prices and what have you. And they couldn't, they really, they couldn't. So it's bad to say like you could kind of see it coming, but
see, I couldn't, I didn't
know. You really thought that it would like continue, like, at least surviving.
Yeah.
I
never knew it was going to permanently close.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have expected it to end this way, the way that it did. I even tweeted as much as like, it sucks to have to go out the way that it did. You'd think that it at least found a way to survive. But,
talking about all this is really driving me to want to drink.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation, and it's going to be just really, really hard for it not to be around. So it's hitting everybody, and the reaction I've seen all over Facebook and Twitter has been strong. You know, I've seen our former classmates talk about it on Facebook. You know, Dina had a lengthy post about it. I think Cole had one, but it's like, and you know, other people from Logan Sport, you know, have been talking about it. This is not just a Monticello thing. No. This is a nationwide thing, and many people's summer vacations are now going to be forever impacted by this.
We have never known a life, and people of our generation have never known a life without Indiana.
Yeah. So it's going to be really odd. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to sink in. It might be a bit. It really will.
Still hit me.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. So, all right. I think we can move on from that. As tough as it is to transition from that after an hour and 20 minutes of reminiscing. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm
tearing up just on that last comment. I'm tearing up like crazy.
Yeah, I think it's time to transition a little bit to some different things. Let's talk about Pony Convention season. Why don't we talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Please, let's talk about something happier.
Yes, let's transition to happy. So we had our reminiscing moments for a good hour and 20 minutes. Now we'll transition a little bit.
I want you to be
right. HarmonyCon actually kicked off the con season this year. That's in Dallas. So HarmonyCon. HarmonyCon kicked off this year for its second year. Actually broke its own records from its debut.
Nice.
Attendance went up a little bit, not massively, but a little bit up to 624. So up 124.
Even with the
show in hiatus, yep. Even with the G4 ending, yep, it went up a little bit. And they raised a lot more money for charity. Over $10,000.
Ooh, good job on you, HarmonyCon.
$10,269.
Do you know the charity? Who is the charity for HarmonyCon?
That's a good question.
Obviously, GAB, I don't think is going to be.
Yeah,
they're still recovering.
Yeah, after the GAB scandal, they are not going to be for a while.
Which I hope that charity still. Runs good, but
it was one bad apple that really ruined the bunch. Spoiled the bunch. And let's see. Yeah. I'm trying to look up let's see, and who was there? Kelly was there, the voice of Starlight Glimmer. Kelly was there. Tony was there, and he's going to be at Winnie City.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trevor Project.
Okay.
That's Trevor Project is suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ youth.
Okay.
So yeah, over $10,000 for Trevor Project. So really, really cool. Big Jim Miller was there. So he was there at HarmonyCon this year. So they had a good group of guests of honor. They really did.
Yeah.
I heard that the concert was really good again. The Wonderbolts were there, which was awesome. So I'm a big fan of theirs, especially after being at Winnie City last year. So yeah, did
you see all the posts for our community guests coming up?
I did. Now we can't say everything, of course, because not everything's official, but
a lot of them are.
A lot of them, but not all of them.
Because Charlie did post.
I know, but he hasn't posted publicly. So remember, we got to keep some of it to ourselves.
He didn't sponsor on the sponsored group.
He's posted one that we can't say yet.
Whisper it.
Oh. So anyway, so I think for HarmonyCon, I think the future looks very bright. I think if they can keep that, that numbers going up and that positive momentum, because after Dallas lost Nightmare Night, which was the big one at the time, I didn't think that they could maybe have another con be successful, but clearly it's showing that they are. But you mentioned for Winnie City, which is the next con in line, which of course is our kind of PonyCon Super Bowl. It's the one that we go to every year, coming up next month in March.
Mm-hmm.
We can say, and I've already said that Tony is going to be the IDW comic guest of honor. They already got Raquel Belmonte, and we can say now that they announced it that Nicole Oliver is going to be there. Princess Celestia herself. Oh my gosh. Like that one.
Everybody is going to want her table.
Everybody's going to want her table at the sponsor dinner. So that is going to be huge. So yeah, I think, and HarmonyCon is coming back next year. They've already announced it. Yes, they've already announced it. So they are coming back in 2021, in late February. So they're pushing along. So yeah, right here. Yes, it's officially true. HarmonyCon will return February 19th through 21st of 2021. So the last day of their con will be 2/21/21. 2/21/21. So yeah, so good for them. Good for you, HarmonyCon. Congrats on the success. We wish you continued success, especially for next year. And I hope you keep plugging along because, the more that the cons, cons are going to keep going as long as we continue to go to them, to support them. It's not a great time right now to start up a new one, as the Phoenix people have found out multiple times. But if Pony Life is at least somewhat of a success, if G5 is a success, then you take advantage of that. As we've said this multiple times, so I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but you feed off of that and you build off of that and go from there. So that's really, and then you can start up new cons. So that's going to be the big thing on that. So just wanted to briefly touch on that. I think very good future for HarmonyCon. And of course, we are always looking forward.
And have they posted any of the community guests?
They have, but they've not announced them publicly. That they should be expected to be announced them here in waves in the next couple weeks.
See, Charlie posted on his page a few of them.
No, that was in the sponsor group.
Oh.
Yeah, he posted them only in the sponsor group. So again, we cannot say yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, we cannot say yet, but they will be announced here slowly over the coming weeks.
Yeah.
I will say though, a lot of my favorites and your favorites are coming back.
Yep.
So, of course, because you've seen it, but but we just can't announce
Sarah
it.
did.
Okay.
I just didn't know.
Yeah, but we just can't. We cannot announce that publicly yet. But that's the nice thing about being a sponsor. You get to know things well in advance. Yeah, you get the perks.
We can tell you, being sponsors previous, I don't think this is bad to tell. But since we have been sponsors and since we are sponsors, it's nice for the sponsors because you get priority for the priority seating.
Yep.
As a sponsor, sorry, Charlie, if we're giving away too much information here. I don't think we.
That's public because the registration shows on the website. That's public. Yeah. That's public.
You get priority seating. You get
priority on the autograph lines.
Priority on the autograph line, and some of my favorite.
First entrance to the vendor hall.
First entrance to the vendor hall, and I think one of my favorite perks is you get early access for tickets. For event tickets,
yes,
a couple of years ago, Old Chicago, was it?
Old Chicago was last year.
No, Old Chicago was.
No, Old Chicago was 18. You're right, because Midwest Adventure was last year. Yes. You're right. Yep, you're right. Old Chicago was 18.
What was what was our first year?
17 was it's kind of themed around your baseball team because they just won the World Series.
Yes.
So, yes.
18 in Old Chicago. I guess I can say this because it's past. There was a thing called the barrel run, and it was like a party bus shaped like an oak barrel that one of the breweries put on.
Okay. The barrel run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget which brewery did that. But anyway, you get picked up at the hotel and you get to see some of the sights around Chicago. And a guy talked about, Al Capone and the gangsters and, took us to one of the churches. It's a church where a shootout happened right outside the church.
Right.
And we got to go to a Prohibition era speakeasy bar, and we got wrecked. Me and Sarah got
yes, you did.
smashed.
Yes, you did.
Went to the liquor store and got to pick, whatever drinks we wanted, because you could drink on this bus, which I thought was so cool because it was a party bus.
Right.
And made some friends there that I still remember. How you doing, Double Clutch? Because he traded me one of his beers, the Apple Orchard
nice.
Rosé, for a strawberry lemonade.
Nice.
Or something I can't remember.
Nice.
No, he traded me a Red's Apple Ale for an Angry Orchard Rosé.
Oh, okay.
And, we just got to talking, just shooting the breeze, because, you're on this bus, because you go into the heart of Chicago.
Yes.
On these barrel run tours.
Yes.
So you're on from Schaumburg to the heart of Chicago, where the whole shindig took place, was like 40 minutes in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just shooting the bull.
Right.
With people, and just making friends.
Right.
And it is so cool, and will always be, that, again, we talk about the beach bringing strings together. Did the same thing.
Yes. No, it does. No, the convention do the same thing. Yes, they do.
You, and it still does.
Yes.
You would never, I wouldn't say I would never talk to these people on the street, but at least at conventions, you're around like-minded people.
Yes.
You're around people that are true fans of the show.
Yes.
All your normal life, 362 days a year, you may be looked at as weird. You're a dude and you like My Little Pony, something for little girls, little girl show, little kid show. It's
right.
Like you're creepy, you're a freak, whatever. And there's been documentaries that we've watched. You watched Brony. You watched that Brony documentary.
Yes. Yep.
And I watched another.
Yep. You watched a different one. Yep.
But I think it was AC Racefest, as a matter of fact, who said, I always thought that men who liked My Little Pony were weird. And then I got into it, and now.
And then he goes on Steve Harvey. Remember? He always tells that story. We went on the Steve Harvey show, and on that episode, it was like, is this weird? Like weird addictions and weird things. And Steve, and there's this other guy that was like, had this like really weird thing that, AC Racefest thinking, there's no way Steve finds what I do weirder than that. And then he says how much he likes Pony, or into it. Steve Harvey gives us a look like, really?
I didn't know this. This
yes.
is news to me.
Okay. Well, Race tells that story all the time. I'm surprised Race, you haven't heard that story from Race.
No, I'll ask him.
Yeah, ask Race. Yeah, ask Race.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's what amazes me is that there's always, like, every year we go, always something a first happens. Like, always something new happens. No two conventions are ever the same. That's what's great about it. And, whether it was, our first one in 2017 was just all new for us, or when I got when everything was new, or in 2018 when I'm a Pegasus sponsor and I get to play Pictionary on stage with Ian Hanlon and Kelly Sheridan, and I win and beat M.A. Larson's team. Like, had I lost to Larson's team, I would not have lived that down, and you would not have let me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because you got me. Tipped him off to the Pegasus sponsorship that she was selling. Morgan, thank you, Morgan. Again, as always, thank you.
Someone was wanting to sell it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, okay, yeah.
To 2019, where what was the big first for us there? Oh, the panel.
Really? You had to really ask that.
Yeah, I know. I had
hosting a freaking panel, dude.
Yes.
We were part of the thing.
Yes, that's true. I had to briefly think, but I mainly set it up, yes, but then he co-hosted with me. So yes, the panel.
My first was not last year, but the year before.
Yep.
The Black Man Brony picked me for the Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
You in the AppleDash hat jumping up and down. That's how you introduced me. Like,
yep.
I want to play. I'm screaming at him, pick me.
Right. Yeah.
That was good.
To the traditions that we've made now, going to City Works and eating before then our pre-meal.
Yeah.
Lou Malnati's our post-meal.
Yeah.
To this year, actually staying at the hotel where the con is being held. We've had 3 different hotels the past 3 years, and now we're actually staying at the one at the Hyatt Regency. So that's huge. So
yeah,
it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So I'm excited.
You hear other people from other cons saying how awesome it is and how awesome it was to just hear everybody just break into song. There's a guy a couple years ago with a ukulele that was playing, and we would sing the songs, and you get a whole, in the main hall, it's like, what, 600 people?
Yes. At least at the bare minimum.
Meeting room.
Yeah, the main events.
Singing the My Little Pony theme after the episode they show, because they usually show, I don't know what they'll show this year or if they will.
Right.
But they usually show an episode of the show.
And of course, last year it was big because that was the season 9 premiere.
Everybody's singing the theme song, and
which is funny now looking back, because you remember my reaction, right? Like, I'm watching it and everyone's freaking out about Grogar, and I'm like, who the hell is Grogar? Like, I didn't even know who Grogar was. Like, I wasn't thrilled about it because I'm like, who the heck is Grogar? Like, I don't know the history behind it. Can someone fill me in?
He was in the 80s.
He was in G1 apparently. Yeah, so I didn't know who Grogar was. I was like, okay, new character. Because I didn't know who Grogar was. So I didn't know what the hoopla was all about. But then looking back to the finale and realizing, oh wait, it was Discord the whole time. Right. So
Jim Miller, I can still kick your ass for that one.
You better hope you're not Winnie City this year, because he might kick your ass. But
I wouldn't.
Oh, I know.
I would at least want to know what the hell.
Right. But no, this year's is going to be exciting.
Things you can say at con that you can't say anywhere else.
Right.
Like, if you're at work, is every pony okay?
Yeah, every pony, every pony, every creature. Yeah,
I think it was our first year with the chicken Pinkie Pie.
Oh yes, yeah.
That was our first year.
Yeah.
This girl would just throw candy at you.
Yeah. Like, just randomly.
Throw candy in the air, and if you caught it, you caught it. If you got hit in the head,
Squeaker. We can't forget Squeaker. Yeah.
And all the pictures we got.
Of course, when Fire Team Harmony was there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love when Fire Team Harmony was there. Yes, because I'll get a picture of Fire Team Harmony.
And then a first for me, I got to put on Scootaloo's
You got to put on Scootaloo's head, yes, and I got my picture with Scoots, and
it was cool, and the sponsor lounge gets better every year.
Sponsor lounge is getting better. We wish that the options would expand a little bit, and we've said as much to Charlie.
You know what, though? And here's news for you.
Okay.
It can.
Well, of course it can.
We can bring stuff.
Oh, okay.
I asked Charlie.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I asked Charlie long before this was even announced.
Okay.
I asked him, I said, if we wanted to bring stuff to help stock the sponsor lounge as sponsors, can we do that? Because he knew we were going to be sponsors.
Right.
I asked him, can sponsors bring stuff to help stock the sponsor lounge? Is that allowed?
Right.
And he said, for Winnie City, yes, it is. For other cons, no, it isn't, because the Marriotts or
their hotels, right?
Other hotels,
right?
They in like Cider Fest in Wisconsin, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
They supply the stuff.
Okay, they supply it on their own. Okay, the Hyatt doesn't do that.
This Hyatt,
specifically this Hyatt, the Hyatt Regency Schaumburg does not do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Winnie City isn't contracted that way.
Gotcha.
Cider Fest is.
Gotcha.
The Hyatt Regency in Wisconsin doesn't allow that, but the Hyatt Regency in Schaumburg does.
Gotcha.
And I asked him, I said, can we as sponsors help you to stock the sponsor lounge with stuff that we want? He says, you're not obligated to, but you can bring whatever you want.
Sweet. Well, that's cool. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm
sponsors can stock it for other sponsors.
That's what makes Charlie great.
Yeah.
Charlie's always open to hear ideas and suggestions, and that's what makes him a great con chair.
Yeah.
So.
And then another one I'll never forget, and I've told him, I've told you, I have a build in my shoe. A build up because I have one leg shorter than the other.
Right.
I asked him if I could wear my regular shoes to the gala because I got that build up. It's yay big.
Right.
And he says, yeah, go ahead. You can, as long as they're not looking bad, as long as they don't have holes.
Right. So yeah, because he let you do that. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Because I told him I had disability and special mobs, and as long as they're not crazy, he'll let you.
Right. The gala is okay. It's not great. I mean, I mostly just go to that for like the little snacks and finger foods they give you. That's not really that great. Now the baseball concert, that's off the chain. I danced my butt off at the baseball last year.
By the way, I don't know if I told you. Maybe I did. Maybe you know this.
Okay.
Guess who's gonna be in Lafayette in May?
Who?
The Shakeups in Ponyville.
Are you serious? Wow.
They're gonna be at a bar in Lafayette.
Oh, nice. Sweet. That's cool. Yeah. I did not know that.
I don't know if they're gonna be there. I don't know who. I don't know. Again, we don't know who they've announced, so I don't want to spill no beans.
They've not announced musicians yet. At least not in our group. They've not announced musicians yet. They only announced community guests, but they've not announced musicians yet.
There we go.
Oh,
that's off my Bands in Town app.
Okay, nice. Cool.
I have an app that profiles different events that are happening near us.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Shakeups.
But bottom line is, we are excited for Winnie City, as we always are.
Another thing, Chris knows this. If you anybody ever watching, if you ever get the chance to go to a con, look for Charlie. Was it Worthley?
Worthley.
Look for Charlie Worthley as the con chair. Not saying that all the other cons are bad.
No.
Because they're not. We know this.
Right.
But we have experience with the Worthleys.
Right.
Charlie and Michelle.
Michelle, yeah.
No matter how busy this guy is, okay? He could be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. You say hi, Charlie, he will stop even for 10 seconds.
He will take time for
hi,
you. Yeah.
How you doing? Are you enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Okay, good to hear. I'm busy. He says, I wish I could sit here and talk to you for half an hour, but I'm busy. But he'll always take that 10 seconds to shake your hand.
Yes.
And give you a smile and hope you're having fun. Hope it's good for you, especially if you're a sponsor. He loves his sponsors
because he knows the sponsors are like the majority of the lifeblood that keeps the cons going.
And he gives you a personalized letter saying "Dear," name,
whoever, right?
And he types the letters.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Or does he just say "Dear sponsor"? I don't know.
No, I think it is customized. Yeah.
But he'll say like, "Dear Mr. Hedinger, dear Mrs. Hedinger, dear Mr. Pearson, thank you for sponsoring this event. This is what you do."
Right.
And he'll in this letter, he breaks it down. You allow us to have the guests of honor. You allow us to have these musicians. You are
the community guests. Yeah, everything.
You are, dear sponsor, what keeps this convention going, what keeps these going. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. I love that, man.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that that Michelle is going to be vice chair this year.
Is she?
Yes.
What about
well, Vivid's he's mainly in charge of the programming and for the main hall and
I thought
stuff.
Vivid was vice chair.
He was for a time, but now he's handed over to Michelle. But Vivid mostly does the main events, the programming. He does his panels, of course. But yeah, so that's his thing. But
we don't know how much we can say, but
right.
As a sponsor, I'll tell you, I'm looking at the sponsor group just to see if anything has been announced that we can announce on the show. I don't know. I won't.
Well, if it's in the sponsor group, you can't say.
No, I know.
You're talking the regular Winnie City PonyCon page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the public page. Yeah, that would be the public page.
we can't say if it's within the sponsors.
Right, because that's for sponsors' eyes only. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, if it's not out in public yet, we can't say it.
Okay.
We've only said what has been released to the public through the Winnie City channel, through all of that on their socials. So that's all we can say.
Okay, that's the sponsors. I just looked at our group. Has anything went public yet that you know of?
I've pretty much said all that I know that's gone public, like about Raquel, Nicole, Tony. So that's.
What sponsors?
But see, what we know, like we know one other GOH, and we know the community guests. That's what we know at this point. But the public doesn't know. So, but they're going to slowly reveal that over the next couple weeks, as Charlie has said. So.
Okay.
So that will be, so you all, the rest of you that aren't sponsors will know that in the coming days.
Okay, nothing.
Yeah, there shouldn't be anything else, at least not that I've seen. All right. Let's dive into a couple of these latest soapboxes. I love seeing these from EQD. I love hearing people's thoughts on these. Now, they actually changed the format a little bit on these, actually. They kept it going. They didn't want it to be retired, so they kept these going, so they didn't end them. They actually expanded the word count, too.
See, now this is just posted.
That's just us, right. We can't say that yet. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just for us.
I was verifying because we know information.
Right. We can't put it out there yet until it's released to public.
I will say this just for your eyes. We're so happy to see this one back.
Yep. And I definitely surprised to see a couple of those back. In fact,
we're happy to see some of these.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Oh,
for
and
sure.
Her.
Yep. So yeah, we're excited at that community guest list, and I think once it gets released, I think y'all will also be excited to see the community guest list as well. So the word count on the soapbox actually expanded it from 200 to 500. So they've expanded that, and they've also said no more political stuff, because the last one included a kind of wild political view. So
no more political stuff.
Yeah, they're avoiding the political side for a bit. So like in the more recent ones, they had some political stuff. So here's this one.
To Trump or something or what? This
it was
is
pretty
new news to me.
It was pretty wild. I'll show you it off camera, but it was pretty wild. I talked about it in my last episode, so I shared it in the last episode. All right, so this round soapboxes. More pillars and young six interaction was needed. I could agree with that. The superior generations. Pastoral idealism and Equestria, how friendship is magic romanticizes rural living. Okay. Hasbro really dropped the ball on milking friendship is magic at its peak.
Maybe.
Did Lyra create the portal to Equestria girls? Okay.
How?
That one's out of left field. All right. More pillars and young six interaction was needed. This is by Alexrio Pony Lover 95. Hello, every creature. So I think NLPFIM in the end has done a very good job in different characters interacting with each other and facing problems together. However, there's one thing I wish the show would have tackled at least a little more, and that is the interaction between the pillars of Equestria and the young six, or student six, if you prefer that term. I do. I call them student six. The only really big interaction we got between two members of the two groups was a Rockhoof and a Hard Place, in which Rockhoof had trouble fitting into the Change Society of Equestria.
Yeah.
Yep. But the main six and the pillars couldn't help the big guy, and he pretty much gave up until Yona was the one who managed to help him in the end. Why couldn't there be more episodes like this? One. The pillars are the original founders of the elements of harmony, but they wouldn't last forever. And as Twilight told the trio of villains during the season 9 finale, there will be others who will continue our mission after we are gone. While lifting up the young six, they will be the elements once the pillars and the main six are gone and can't continue on anymore, which I kind of saw coming. Wouldn't it make sense for the young six to then learn from the pillars by sharing problems or going off on adventures together? In fact, I very much imagined a season finale where the pillars and the young six have to team up because the main six are trapped by a villain, and it's up to the old and new elements of harmony to save Equestria together. Ooh, I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
And of course, new bonds are forged, and we could then have a season where even the pillars and young six are sent on map adventures together and they learn from each other while solving the problem they were sent to find a solution to. Now, of course, the question does remind that who would be paired with who. I once heard from one of Silverquill's videos that limiting the young six to their main six counterparts doesn't really add to their potential as characters, but why not? If the young six are truly meant to represent the future elements of Harmony, they do need to have their elements picked for them. So here's how I imagine the pairing of the pillars and the young six. Yona with Rockhoof, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Ocellus with Mage Meadowbrook. Okay, I could see that. Silverstream with Somnambula. Yeah. Smolder with Flash Magnus. Oh, definitely. Definitely Smolder with Flash. Sandbar with Mistmane. And Gallus with Star Swirl.
Yeah.
Feel free to disagree with me on these pairings. Someone better with someone else between these two groups. And I really do hope that maybe we will get to see some more Pillars and Young Six interaction in the Season 10 comics. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would have been awesome. Fanfic writers, you make it happen too. Like I think that would be so cool to have one interaction between those two. Because yeah, it's kind of like a changing of the guard. You know, it's with the old and the new. So yeah, I would have loved to see that. That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
The Superior Generations by Ever On. Generations 1 through 3 are the best in my opinion. Yeah, the cartoons are simple and aimed at kids, but that's the point. My Little Pony is targeted towards kids, and cartoons don't need to be complex to be enjoyable. But it's the toys that make the old generations better than G4. While G4 releases the same 6 ponies over and over again with little variety, the old gens created tons upon tons of unique characters. What, G4 didn't? The quality of the toys and the packaging artwork are much nicer than most G4 products. I can't disagree with that. Sometimes the toys are a little bit iffy for G4. G4 is known for terrible hair and packaging that's lackluster. Yeah. I miss the good old days when all ponies had stories on their cards and soft, silky hair that wasn't matted right after being opened. The days when the toys were fun to collect because they were all different. And it's worth noting how today's ponies look nothing like, well, ponies. Flat faces and slim bodies barely resemble any equine I know. Gens 1 through 3 are actually recognizable as horses. G4, deer cat hybrids in my eyes. Okay. Short and stubby ponies are far superior. The hate the old generations get makes me so sad. They're just as important to people as G4. For many, they were their childhood. I grew up obsessed with G3, and I wouldn't change that for the world. I mean, if you grew up with it, yeah, I can understand why you'd want to hold on to that. I get that. You know,
So did I.
Right?
I was playing with My Little Ponies before I knew what My Little Pony was, but I still grew up with it.
Right.
I would grow up playing with them.
Right.
Playing with the toys.
Right, yeah. But deer cat hybrids, I think that's a little extreme. I think they still look like ponies.
Yeah.
Did Lyra create the portal to Equestria Girls by S-Class Destroyer? I thought this would never happen until now. The Destroyer is back for another write-up, and this week, as promised, I'll be introducing Lyra. Specifically, a thesis on whether she created the portal to the human Equestria universe before Sunset did, or did she work with Sunset for this to work? Let's see. 1. Lyra preconcepted anthropology. It may be hard to acknowledge that Lyra in the show may be an anthropologist in the shows besides. The fandom made that for her. That's true. But let's take a moment to recollect on previous occurrences within FIM itself. Firstly, do you remember her sitting oddly? Yes. Do you notice that her wife, yes, it's canon feature now, Bon Bon, is always speaking differently with every line said? Bon Bon may not just have a job of her own, but one of her missions was to secretly infiltrate the import center where Lyra would ask about those oats. Well, joking aside, Bon Bon could have been supplying Lyra long before that with certain gear that she's needed for her anthropology assets. Okay. Think of it this way. Bon Bon is always seen in the foreground more, meaning that every pony is making the assumption that she is just doing her job. Or is she? 2, her prominent background status. Lyra is always in the background, almost like Bon Bon, to remain a low profile so the royal guards don't find her, or that Twilight does not know she was partly or inadvertently involved in Sunset's burglary of the crown and therefore facing possible arrest by the royal guard. In EG, the pair seem content, yet friendly competitive with one another, and seem to not be bothered about the universe that they're living in, as Bon Bon already knows about Lyra's motivations, and therefore in secrecy, able to live the alibi full frontally without having anything to do with Sunset Shimmer anymore, even when in FIM they were once conjoined to one another.
Okay.
And that's it. Huh. I mean,
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's kind of a long shot theory. It's definitely a shot in the dark.
They say in the first Equestrian Girls that it's a mirror.
Yes.
That was kept in the castle in Canterlot and then shipped to the Crystal Empire.
Right.
And whatnot.
Right.
How the heck could Lyra create that if it was in Canterlot?
Exactly.
Or if it's in the Crystal Empire, which she was never in.
At least never seen in. Yes.
Never seen in. So
it's a long shot. Yeah, it is. It's a long shot. It's definitely a long shot. I don't see it either, but
no.
All right, here's the one that piqued my interest. Pastoral Idealism in Equestria, How Friendship is Magic Romanticizes Rural Living. It's actually by Christopher, but not me. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic possesses a large and diverse world that is extensively explored throughout the series. However, in spite of this, one must remain cognizant of the fact that the show largely takes place in Ponyville, a rural setting. Within this essay, I intend on exploring how the show largely idealizes rural Equestria, particularly via the urban Equestria, and how this portrayal reflects real-world perceptions of rural America. Okay. In modern America, particularly in television, rural folk are often portrayed as being mentally slow, inbred, and bigoted. While such stereotypes are completely baseless, after all, there are rural folk who live up to these stereotypes. As an Oklahoman, I can attest that most of us aren't like that. Okay, there you go. Most of us are normal, decent folk who love our communities and want to make them better.
Yeah.
This is why the characterization of rural ponies, especially Applejack, is a refreshing change of pace. Her and the rest of the Apple family generally are intelligent, kind-hearted, and loving toward both their family and total strangers. Apple bucking the trend. However, the show goes above and beyond simply having positive rural role models. While this is likely not the intent of the show's writers, urbanites were frequently portrayed as being snobbish, aloof, and arrogant, while rural ponies were portrayed as virtuous, generally being more productive, hospitable, and relatively less close-minded.
Well, yeah.
Sweet and elite is likely the most glaring example of the rural versus urban divide in the show, with the ponies of Canterlot being portrayed as wishy-washy elites who look down upon those who aren't from the city, Fancy Pants being the exception.
Yeah.
On the other hoof, when Twilight visits Ponyville in the pilot, she's treated kindly by every pony that she interacts with. This hospitality towards strangers is manifested again and again throughout the series, as Ponyville and Appaloosa are generally portrayed as welcoming communities. The show goes so far out of its way to avoid a negative portrayal of rural life that it begins to glamorize rural existence, largely glossing over the struggles and hardship that actually rural farmers have to endure. Sure, Rainbow Road Trip deals with the decay of rural communities, but this is an exception to the rule. The fetishization of agrarian simplicity and work ethic is personified by Tenderhoof in simple ways, whereas an outsider is woefully ignorant of the difficulties of a relatively isolated existence, which in turn is characterized by manual labor as opposed to intellectual labor. The tendency of the show to idealize pastoral life is reflected by a broader trend within Western society for the past 200 years to regard rural life as more pure, fulfilling, and pleasurable. In the urban hell of the Industrial Revolution, writers, artists, intellectuals, and common urbanites nostalgically pine for the supposedly better past. Amidst this cultural zeitgeist, paintings, novels, and popular discourse yearned for a return to a bygone era where individuals lived in tight-knit communities and directly enjoyed the literal fruit of their labor. While contemporary popular culture tends to vilify the people of rural America, it doesn't mind utilizing rural America. The girl and horse genre of movies is another manifestation of such a trend. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is at its heart a syncretic fusion of these various trends in media. While it might adopt a very welcome change in tone in its portrayal of rural folk, it continues to propagate the notion that rural communities are stuck in time oasis that exist not for the betterment of the individuals who populate them, but rather for the moral betterment of urbanite transplants. Urban ponies like Twilight continue to be in the foreground, where rural natives are pushed to the background, their homes and community serving as props for an idyllic fantasy.
Both.
You don't buy any bit of that, do you?
No, I don't. Do you? Do not say that you.
No, I don't. That's
bullshit.
That's really pushing it. Yeah, that's another one that really is kind of pushing it a bit. I mean, he's really digging deep, don't get me wrong.
Dude, you go down south to these communities, and you'll find that down south they are probably more hospitable.
Right.
I went down to Tennessee the summer of my 8th grade year, going into my freshman year.
Yeah.
I can't count how many times I was called hun and sweetie and doll and all that. That's the Southern way of life, a-hole.
Right. So yeah, that one was oof. Finally, Hasbro really dropped the ball on milking friendship is magic at its peak by Rizax. Remember the days when FIM was the biggest thing on the internet? I don't know if it is typical corporate slowness or they just didn't have the right people on board, but this cartoon had so much more potential than what they used it for. This fandom was everywhere back in 2012 to 2014, yet Hasbro is largely silent on anything major tying into it. Instead of sideshows and Equestria, we got Equestria Girls. Instead of really fleshing out the incredible world, they forced Twilicorn and just turned it into royal stuff. I still love the show, but why was the focus so far off what made it great in the first place? They hired only a single really good licensee in 4D who seems to have just disappeared halfway through releasing their line. Instead, all we had was terrible stuff like the weird-looking ones of the streamers for a mane and tail, along with Aurora, who always looked a little goofy. Even Build-A-Bear really isn't great. I disagree with that one. If Hasbro couldn't find anyone else willing to create high-quality merch back then, why not bring it in-house? They've dealt with collectors for years. Do they really only have the capability of a single mass-produced, recolor-to-death mold per generation as one of the biggest toy companies in the world? Then Guardians of Harmony released, and we finally got some pretty cool-looking stuff. It was just so late in the game. The fandom was long into its decline at that point. I know people like to pretend we've always been huge, but after 2013, people were definitely getting bored. By 2015, most people outside the few collected all people that were still actively buying merch or buying fan-made stuff that was even higher quality than Guardians. Can you imagine if Hasbro created plushies like NK plushies who eventually dealt with a Chinese factory to mass produce them during the peak? High-quality stuff everyone would actually want. It just seems so sad. I mean, that's a unique perspective of looking at it, but I don't know. Again, I disagree with some of those points because I don't think Build-A-Bear actually is that bad. I mean, it's not, some of the stuff's not high quality. Sure, it could be better. Yeah. Yes, I agree with that much, but I don't think it was like, I think Hasbro did what they could, could they've done more maybe, but I don't think it was like they missed an opportunity to milk it. I think it was well enough on that they knew what they had and they didn't have to really milk it any further. So
yeah.
Okay, I think we'll save that one for next week because that one's already pretty deep. Well, there's one more soapbox on here, but
yeah,
I think we'll save that one because we still got a couple more topics to go. We're already 2 hours in.
Dang.
Yeah. Okay. Couple more things. Let's talk XFL. Because of course we've not had the chance to do a live stream on that yet. Live commentary on that yet. My plan is to do on the 23rd. I want to do one. I've been out of town on both weeks of the season. I posted as much in the discussion on the channel page. Week 1, I was out of town on vacation because Mom was on vacation in the Bahamas. And then
you were out of town. You were just going.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't out of town. I was just away from home base. Yep. And then last week, just this past week on Sunday.
Skipped off to a basketball game without telling us. Thank you on that one.
Yeah.
We were worried about you.
You were worried, really?
Yes, we were.
I thought I told you.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Maybe Matt and Debbie didn't.
I don't know, but anyway. But yeah, so
because why do you think Sarah texted you said you won't be at church?
Well, yeah, I knew why she asked. Yeah, so
she wouldn't have asked if we'd known about it.
Okay, so that's true, but I get it. But no, first 2 weeks of the season, I think the XFL has staying power. I think, like I said, I think this is gonna be the one that's gonna survive.
They signed a multi-year TV deal with some of the networks.
Fox, ABC, ESPN, those networks.
I don't think Gen 1 had multi.
No, they only had NBC, remember? They were NBC and NBC alone. Well, yeah. No, I take that back. They might have aired a few on Versus, but when Versus was a thing. But
they didn't have it for multi-year
contracts. Correct. That's right. But no, I've been impressed with what I've seen. We both have.
Yeah.
It's, the rule changes are awesome. I love the new kickoff rule.
Right. I do too.
I think the NFL is eventually going to adopt that. I think they will. because
I don't know.
really, it's a safety thing. It cuts down those collisions. It's a safety thing, So if the NFL cares about safety, I think they will. If they do. But I love that. I love the conversion rule. I like that with the different options for no because the extra point's automatic usually. It's like I have the different conversion and strategy plays into it. What else? I like the play clock is shorter. I like the shorter play clock from 40 to 25. I like that. What else am I missing that's really big? The comeback period. Comeback period in the last 2 minutes where the clock stops after plays. Yep, I like that.
You're missing a big one.
Which one am I missing?
The kickoff rules and the punt rules.
For example, because they're trying to get him to go for it more on fourth down. So if a punt lands out of bounds on the punt, or it doesn't hit within the 20, it comes to the opponent 35.
Yeah.
Or is it 35 or the 45? One of the
35.
35. But so you have more incentive to go for it on fourth down and not punt it away. So we're seeing a lot more coaches go for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
Ranking wise thus far, your top team has got to be the DC Defenders.
Kind of wish my team was doing
yeah. But no, DC is number one for me. I'd have to say they're making plays on both sides of the ball. Cardell Jones has been amazing at quarterback. They've had a pick six in both games, so including former Sycamore Jameer Thurman had a pick six in the last game when they shut out the Guardians. So to me, Defenders look the best right now, although the Houston Roughnecks are a close second. They're also the other 2-0 team in the league.
Yeah.
Houston's look good. PJ Walker at quarterback has been very, very good. Defensively not as good as the Defenders, but they can make some plays, so they're up there. And then you've got a hodgepodge of 1-1 teams. I would probably put St. Louis third. I put the Battlehawks third.
Okay.
Because Jordan Ta'amu, their quarterback, the dual threat, has looked very, very good in his first 2 games. He's thrown for touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown or 2. Their run game is good with Cameron Artis-Payne. And they've put up some points. So I'd have them 3. Who would I have at 4? I'd probably put Dallas at 4.
Okay.
I'd probably put the Renegades at 4, barely above Seattle, only because Dallas's offense is just a little bit better. Landry Jones came back last week, which was huge for them at quarterback. So that's going to be huge for Dallas going forward. Although this week's game with Dallas and Seattle is going to be huge to see who comes out of that. Because I probably have Seattle at 5. The Dragons, looked had to come back last week against your Tampa Bay Vipers. Blowing a 9-0 lead and scoring 17 unanswered.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, right. Sorry. But no, Seattle looked good, had a defensive pick six.
The only reason I'm keeping the jersey he bought is because it's a custom jersey with my name.
We should be getting our custom jerseys
here soon.
Yes. So we'll have those for the commentary as well.
Otherwise, I would wipe my ass with it.
Yeah.
If it was just a player, I'd probably burn it.
Right. But I'll have Dragons at 5. I'd have the Guardians at 6. Because the Guardians really got humbled last. They looked so impressive against Tampa Bay in Week 1, New York. 23-3 in their Week 1 win, but then DC just completely shut Matt McGloin and the offense down.
Yeah.
And they were all talking smack before the game. We'll find out who the real defenders are. And it's so DC kind of that is bulletin board material, and
I guess they found out the defenders are actually defenders.
Yeah. So right. So I put New York 6, and then I put the LA Wildcats at 7. They just can't stop anybody. Their offense has shown flashes, but their defense is just terrible. They're just not very good. I have them 7th, and then I have your Tampa Bay Vipers 8th.
Yeah.
Because the offense just sucks, dude. And I thought Mark Tress would be so much better,
Yeah.
But they, and Aaron Murray didn't play last week because he was out with a foot issue, so that also hurt. They bounced back and forth between Taylor Cornelius and Quentin Flowers. Can't make up their mind who they want at quarterback.
No.
And they're just not playing well. Turnovers.
I don't think the Tampa Bay Vipers are going to last very long.
Yeah.
Well, because who wants to come see an 0-8 team 0-10.
If they keep losing out, yes.
When the season is only
10 games long.
Yes,
yeah.
Who is going to put up with it?
Right.
Who is going to want to stick with it?
Right. It's So I don't know. We'll see, but they're definitely bottom right now. Turnovers, dumb penalties, killing them. Week 1, a player gets ejected for throwing a punch. Week 2, guy headbutts a guy and gets a penalty. Not a full-on headbutt, but another headbutt where it's a penalty. Not an ejectionable headbutt, but enough of a headbutt. They're just not very disciplined.
In other news, have you heard anything more coming out of Philly?
Yeah, so there was a story on Twitter that I saw while we were watching the Seattle-Tampa Bay game as well, that there was potentially a rumblings that a team could be coming to Philadelphia as soon as next year. I've not seen anything. They registered a domain for it. Yep. Potentially a couple locations. Franklin Field was one. Synergy Park, where the Phillies play, or Citizens Bank Park. I'm sorry. And also Lincoln Financial Field, where the Eagles play, are potentially landing spots. So Philly was in the mix. I think I also read there was another city that was thinking about getting one. Oh, Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
Wanted one.
Okay.
They were in talks to potentially get one.
Okay,
So
I think Alabama a state without a professional franchise?
Yes, because the big thing in Alabama is the college, is the university.
Yeah, but they don't have a pro.
Exactly, they don't have a pro franchise. Correct. So
think.
if they get an XFL, that would be huge for them. So you can see that cities want this league. They want in. They want the league to expand. So who knows? We might see that expansion if this continues its success.
8 to 10
going forward. Yeah, we might see it. So, but yeah, I've enjoyed what I've seen. It's actual football, and it's good football.
Yeah.
It's not bad football. I will, the Alliance, it was decent football. It wasn't great football.
It was rushed.
It was very rushed. Yeah, it was, and there was problems with it from the start. But this.
Do you know why? I watched a video of why the Alliance failed and the XFL is going to succeed. The Alliance was rushed because they wanted to beat the XFL out.
Yes, they did.
They wanted to win that war.
Yeah.
Well, that ended up
biting them in the butt because they didn't have the financial backing.
They had to rush it.
They had to rush it.
They wanted to beat the
XFL to it.
To the market.
They didn't have the financial backing, and then they had to get the owner of the Hurricanes to pour in $250 million just to keep it afloat for a few more weeks. And then Dundon goes all crazy and says, oh, no, now I'm taking over, and I'm making the decisions, and I want the NFLPA to partner with the AAF so that their players come to us. And the NFL is going to say, no, heck no, no way. And then Dundon's like, well, if you're not going to do that, then I'm going to fold. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah, so Dundon wanted his way. He was Burger King. He wanted it his way, and he was a dick. And so
your friend's a dick.
Your friend's a dick. So Dundon Dick.
Dundon Dick.
I'm surprised his name wasn't Dick Dundon.
I was just gonna say that. Dick Dundon.
Tom, what's your middle name? Dick Dundon.
Tom Dickie Dundon.
Dickie Dundon. But no, I think the XFL has staying power. I think it's going to stick around, and I look forward.
Out yet?
That's a good question. I need to look that up
for
week two, because that was going to be the critical.
Power rankings are.
Oh yeah, the power rankings were out. Yes, and actually they were pretty similar to mine. Let's see. Well, they dipped on ABC. Let's see. The XFL had very strong ratings in week 1. The return of his nights near hiatus. The week 2 ratios were strong to quite strong. According to Jake Russell of the Washington Post, the week 2 ABC games drew an average audience of 2.1 million on Saturday for the Guardians Defenders, and an average audience of 2.3 million on Sunday for Dallas at LA. Last Saturday's XFL debut featuring the Dragons and the Defenders generated 3.3 million. So the reduction from one Saturday to the next, the same starting time amounts to 1.1 million. That equates to a slippage of 35.5%. On Sunday of week 1, the ABC ESPN game was televised by ESPN, and it drew 2.5 million viewers. The week 2 Sunday game experienced less of a dip by only 103,000 viewers and 4%. However, broadcast TV usually generates a much higher audience than cable. That's fair to assume the audience would have been smaller if the Week 2 Sunday game had been televised by ESPN, and the audience would have been larger if the Week 1 Sunday game had been televised by ABC.
Huh.
So, yeah. So then here's a Yahoo article. What does the ratings dip mean for the league? So the XFL had a television ratings drop in Week 2, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. In a perfect world, the new football league would want more viewers in the second week, but that's not realistic. The novelty of a new league inflates ratings in Week 1, then they drop. That pattern is established. So the XFL, which felt good about its opening week ratings, presumably braced for a drop, but the drop wasn't all that bad. Now, the Alliance saw a massive drop in its second week. So Week 2 TV ratings for XFL, of course, 2.2 million average viewers, peak at 3.3 million. Week 2 of the AAF, only 1 million on TNT, and only 424,000 and 425,000 on NFL Network.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, the XFL is crushing what the Alliance did. So really, that's not that much to panic or freak out about. You know, they have some momentum. So not having a nosedive Week 2, and they passed that test. So yeah. So really, they dipped, but they didn't dip enough to where everybody panic. You know. So no, they're still doing very well for themselves, and I think they still will. So I'm optimistic. I'm more optimistic than I was about the Alliance for sure. All right. Last topic real quick. I wanted to share these at some point because I always update these every once in a while. You know, the more experiences I have, you know, the things that happen throughout the year. I wanted to update my NFL and NHL mascot rankings. This is my personal list that I update throughout the year. You know, there are more events that happen every time, and the rankings shift and change. So I just want to give up a breakdown of my list. So we'll start with the NFL. Of course, we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. Number 28 is the Patriots mascot, Pat Patriot, for obvious reasons.
They're 32.
Now, not all NFL teams have mascots.
No.
Though. Not all NFL teams have them. We'll think the Packers don't have one.
Okay.
Let's see. Who doesn't have one? Green Bay doesn't have one. The Jets don't have one. The Giants don't have one. And there's one more that I'm missing. And I always forget them.
Philly?
No, Philly has one. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who doesn't have one? They'll probably come later, but yeah.
Browns?
No, Browns have one.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I know Green Bay, the Jets, and the Giants do not.
Yeah.
So 28 is Pat Patriot. I mean, he just looks stupid. He looks silly. As of course the Patriots, I don't like them that much. 27 is Boltman from the LA Chargers. I don't know if you've ever seen Boltman. I mean, he's not official, but he's just this big old guy in a big old like lightning bolt costume, which is all muscly and stuff. It's creepy. It's like a humanoid lightning bolt. I don't dig it. 26 is the Raider rusher from Oakland. That's essentially the guy from Rush Zone, from the Oakland guy. They actually made him like partially the official mascot, and I'm like, why would you do that when he looks kind of ridiculous anyway?
Yeah.
So I don't know. 25 is Steely McBeam from the Steelers. It's Bill Cowher. Let's not kid ourselves. It's Bill Cowher with the steel beam in his hand.
Huh.
He's that's what he looks like. He's just, again, weird. 24, Staley the Bear from Chicago. Nothing really wrong with Staley. I just think he's, you know, obviously he's big. He's very big. He's a big bear.
Yeah.
And his expression's kind of odd too. I think that's why I found him weird. 23, Rowdy from Dallas. The Cowboy. Again, the humanoid mascots I'm not really like big and fond of. Like Rowdy's okay, but he's just, again, I'm not big into the human ones. Same with 22, Captain Fear from Tampa Bay, the Buccaneer, you know, just not my thing. 21, Billy Buffalo from the Bills. They gave him a makeover recently, and he's kind of weird looking too. Like he's a little bit like the old version was kind of like kind of tougher, and then the version they gave him a makeover was a little bit happier. So I approve the makeover, but
tough look was scaring the kitties.
That's probably why. but so at least he's improved. 20 is Gumbo from New Orleans Saints. Now I consider Gumbo like their main mascot. That's the dog. Like I like the dog from the Saints. Like the other guy, Sir Saint, I wasn't fond of. He's got a huge chin.
Huh.
Like his chin sticks out to here. Like it's freaky. Like he reminds me of remember like the Fairly Odd Parents with the crimson chin? Like that's reminds me of his chin's out to here. Like I like the dog better. Speaking of dogs, 19 is Chomps from Cleveland. I like Chomps. I met Chomps at the mascot Pee Wee game in 2017 because it wasn't 2019. It was 2017 I met him. And that was shortly after Cleveland. He had won the mascot games in Orlando. So that was cool. 18 is Poe from the Ravens. I always like the Raven mascot. Neat thing about Poe, he whistles.
Okay.
he whistles actually like a raven, so that's always cool. 17 is Casey Wolf. Again, I've always been a fan of Casey Wolf. Casey Wolf is a legend. Finally got a Super Bowl ring, which was awesome. So he got a Super Bowl. The same guy playing it for so long. He's written 2 books. I mean, he's in the Mascot Hall of Fame. What hasn't Casey Wolf done? He's really cool. I always like Casey Wolf. 16, Houday from Cincinnati, the Bengal. He was actually supposed to be at the 17 game. He's on the wall. He's on the banner for the Summit game, and he wasn't there. So I was just kind of disappointed that he wasn't there. But I like the Bengal. I like his look. The tiger. It works. I like it. 15 is Freddie Falcon from Atlanta. Freddie Falcon is funny. Like Freddie Falcon is hilarious. He will do whatever. I don't know if I've shown you the picture that I got with him. He's like taking up all the camera space and kind of trying to push me my face out of the picture. It's hilarious. Freddie's funny. He's funny. I like him. 14, Sourdough Sam from San Francisco. Reason why he's high on this list, he's a good breakdancer. Like if you watch videos of Sourdough Sam, you'll find him breakdancing. Like he's a really good dancer. Like he's really good. So even the guy that plays Blue, Trey Mock, has said as much. He's like the best dancer in the NFL. So he's highly respected for his dancing. 13, Big Red from Arizona. Always liked the Cardinals. Always liked the Cardinal. That it works for Arizona. I love his entrances. Like what he'll do is he'll when they're doing the tunnel and he's got the flags, and he'll do a front flip. Like he'll do 2 front flips. Yeah. So I love his gymnastic style. I love that. That's so cool. Number 12, Miles from the Denver Broncos. Let's see. I met Miles in the 2018 mascot Pee Wee game. Actually, a really neat moment in the meetup line, and so excited to see Miles, and we had this handshake. It was like like this. It was really cool. So, but I like Miles's look. Full uni, which I respect, which is awesome. 11, Sir Purr from the Panthers. I've always liked Sir Purr. It pulls off the Panther look well. 10, you mentioned the Eagles. I like Swoop. Swoop is a good look. Looks like an eagle. Well represented, well designed. 9 is T-Rack from Tennessee. I love the uniqueness with T-Rack. You think Titans. You would think a gladiator or something strong. Yeah. But no, they honor their state animal, which is the raccoon of Tennessee. So that's why they picked the raccoon. So I always thought that unique, and so that's why I thought T-Rack was cool. Number 8, Jackson DeVille from the Jaguars. I've always liked Jackson for his stunts. I mean, he's the crazy one jumping off the light tower before the games at Jacksonville at Everbank Field. I always thought that even in London he does that. When the Jags go to London and play, he does it there too. And it's like he's just nuts. He's crazy. He's one of the crazier mascots in the league, but that's why I like him. Number 7, Victor Viking from Minnesota. Victor's a classic. He's been around for a long time. Victor actually, he's very active on Twitter. Victor actually really likes the fact that I live tweet the mascot Pee Wee game. He actually reached out to me and said, thanks for live tweeting the game. So he appreciates that. 6 is Rory from the Detroit Lions. I've told the story about Rory, for obvious reasons. when he reached out to me and got me the autograph cards and the letter that's still on my wall. Always like the Lions, so Rory's definitely high on my list. He's definitely toward the top of the mascots I've yet to meet, too. Now the top 5 I've all met in person. Top 5, Rampage from the Rams. I'm a big fan of Rams. I love the Ram look. So I'm always a big fan of Rampage. 4, TD from the Dolphins. Gosh, when he scored that touchdown in 2017, I went nuts. When he scored a 70-yard touchdown, I was really, really thrilled for that. I love TD, love the Dolphins. 3, Blitz from the Seahawks. You know, Blitz has always looked really good. You know, I didn't like the makeover at first, like after the original actor that played Blitz retired and then did the makeover. Like, it took me a little bit to warm to that, but I liked it over time, and that was better. So, and Blitz is great on Twitter, and we've had a couple good experiences at the game, so that was great.
Yeah.
Blue is number 2, and Blue, of course, knowing that I know the guy, who plays him, and that he always says how much he appreciates me and I support that. That sticks with me. It's going to be so great to see him get inducted into the Mascot Hall this summer in June, along with Boomer. So that means the world to me. I very much think highly of Blue. But number 1 is Toro. It's interchangeable between Toro and Blue. Because Toro is he's so great in the Houston community. Not that Blue isn't great in any community, is the community he does, but Toro's great in the Houston community. He's great on social media. He's, it's just so fun. Like, he's goofy. I love that about Toro. So they interchange 1 and 2, but it interchanges. But and let's see. And I've met all but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I met 17 of the 28. So not bad. Now the NHL, and these really interchange after like the All-Star game, like
Washington
the
Redskins.
That's it. Washington didn't have one. That's right. That's the one we missed. Green Bay, Jets, Giants, Washington. That's it. Good. That's it. Good job. That's it. Yeah. Good on you. That's it. That's one I couldn't think of.
They used to. It wasn't Indian.
Yeah.
And they threw a fit.
Yeah.
With the name.
Yeah, and they're still throwing a fit because some people want Snyder to change the name and he won't change it. So.
Well, there's buyer from him, then you can do whatever you want.
All right. Exactly. So then NHL. So these always change with the Mascot Showdown, with me going to the Mascot Conference. Well, you went with me too, the Mascot Conference last year.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Which one did you go with me with?
I
thought you did go to the Mascot Conference.
No, I went to that one at the Mascot Hall of Fame.
That was the Mascot Conference. The meet and greet. Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
That was the Mascot Conference. Yes, it was. Because they had the meet and greet there before they went to Chicago. So, yes.
Yes.
You were with me.
Met Tommy Hawk and.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when I met Tommy Hawk.
I thought you were talking about like an all-star.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, the actual conference in Whiting. Yeah, when they actually held it there.
Okay.
But yeah, when I met Tommy Hawk and Sparky finally and caught up with Nash and Thunderbug.
Okay.
And and Bailey.
And the Duck.
And Wild Wing. Yep, and Wild Wing. Yep. Yeah, and Howler was there.
Did you hear, speaking of the Mighty Ducks,
okay,
did you hear what Disney Plus is doing?
They're bringing it back.
They're bringing the Mighty Ducks back as a live action television
I did
series
see that.
with Amelia
I did see
Estevez.
that. I
love
did see
that.
that. Yes, I did see that. Yep, I did. Yep. Yep.
Being that the Ducks is one of our favorite mascots.
Oh, yes. Yes. I watched Miracle last night. By the way, speaking of hockey movies,
Okay.
I watched Miracle. Have you
Yes.
watched Miracle? Okay,
With
Kurt Russell's Herb Brooks.
yes.
Yep, great movie. I love it. I watched it last
Who
night.
do you play for?
Right,
United States of America. Yeah.
and the speech at the end before they
Yeah.
play the Russians. Oh, gets me every time. Every time.
What is it?
Their time is done. This is your time.
Yeah.
Go out there and take it. Just Like, yes, coach, I'm ready to fire up now. Put me in USA gear. I'll go out there. I'll kick some Russian ass too. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
They were ready after they said that, and they knew that they could not only play with the Russians but beat them. They did. Which they did. And then went on to win the gold medal, beating Finland. So these rankings are basically updated through January of this year after All-Star Weekend. So this is still fairly recent. If you follow me on Twitter, you should all know who is at my bottom. You should all know. NJ. He will stay at the bottom. He will stay at the bottom.
Yep.
So he will always be at the bottom. Now pre-2016, I had respect for that franchise. I got a picture of them in Nashville, and it was fine. And then it all went to crap. So
they didn't change the name.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep, they didn't. It all went to crap.
They were going to change from the Devils or change
to
their mascot?
Well, they were going to change everything.
Okay.
And then they didn't.
What were they going to?
Angels.
See, they couldn't do that because Angels is already a trademark of baseball.
Well, why did they fly a big flag outside Prudential Center then?
Oh, well. In Los Angeles, the Angels in baseball?
Yes.
So they couldn't have done that.
Well, still, they flew a big flag outside of Prudential Center. So
maybe Los Angeles Angels in baseball?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. Well, I bet you the reason why they couldn't name New Jersey Angels is because Los Angeles already had a trademark for baseball. They didn't want confused.
But the weird thing was nobody was talking about it. Like, everybody kept silent. Like, maybe they were paid to be silent. Like, nobody was talking about it. So it was just, it rubs me the wrong way. So I did have respect. Now I don't. Still in the lame group, 28, Carlton from Toronto. I mean, he's just a polar bear.
Was it 29?
There's 29 in the NHL. So
now does every team in the NHL?
There's only 2 that don't have them. New York Rangers and Detroit. I mean, Al the Octopus is technically on my poster, but he's not. Al is not a walking mascot. He's not. Okay. He was in the rafters at the arena, and I don't know. So I don't even know why he's on the poster.
No.
But yeah, he doesn't actually move around. So I mean, Carlton at 28, just basic polar bear, yawn. 27 is Stormy from Carolina. Again, I've never wondered what an ice hog has to do with the Hurricanes, but Now I will give Carolina this. I like on the nights when they do like the Hartford Whalers tribute nights, where they wear the green and blue jerseys as homage to Hartford, where they moved from, and they bring back Pucky the Whale.
Okay.
I liked Pucky the Whale. I thought he was neat from Hartford, so I'm glad when they bring him back. But that's only like once or twice a year. 26, Stanley C. Panther from Florida. Again, it's a basic Panther, nothing too flashy about him. I always find it hilarious. He's named after the cup that the team has never won.
What?
Stanley C. Panther.
Okay.
He's named after the Stanley Cup. They've never won it. I find that funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, we'll win it one day, but not yet. Middle of the pack, 25, Hunter from Edmonton. It's different. It's a Lynx. It's different. I'll give Hunter that, But when Hunter first was announced, I thought he was kind of scary for the kids, and maybe he's warming them over time. I don't know, but I don't know.
Hunter is where?
Edmonton.
What?
Yes, Oilers. Yeah. He's kind of one of the newer mascots in the league. 24 is Youppi from Montreal. Again, I know Youppi's a classic. He's been in the league forever. I get it. 40-plus years. I get it. He's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2020, but I don't know. I never really got into Youppi. Again, he's kind of like, now he's kind of like Gertie. He's just like the orange, big, fluffy thing, and you don't really know what he is. So I never really got into Youppi. But I'm happy that he's getting inducted to the Mascot Hall. I will say that much, because he is a classic. 23, Victory Green from Dallas. Again, it's kind of the same thing. It's a big green alien thing. It's kind of like the Fanatic. Yeah. So again, I do like his ears though. His ears are shaped like hockey sticks.
Yeah.
I do like that. And for Victor, I do like that. 22 Blades from Boston. Again, basic bear, your basic bear. Although I will say this about Blades. Blades is a stud during the Mascot Showdown hockey game. Like every year, Blades will score at least 1 goal. So Blades is really good at scoring goals. So kind of like his team, Boston is a very good team. So he very much replicates the team. I have Gritty at 21. And I know some people probably say, oh, that's really underselling Gritty. He's so popular. I'm like, well, with me, though, like when Gritty was first announced, like I wasn't sold on Gritty at first. Like for the longest time, I was not a fan of Gritty because I famously called Gritty the man-child of Youppi and the Philly Fanatic. Yes, I was not a fan of Gritty. But once I met Gritty at the conference, he warmed to me. And because I saw he was so good with the fans. And Gritty's into beards. Like I don't know if you noticed the picture I took with him. Like he was doing this number with his beard, so like he's very into beards. So Gritty eventually warned to me. So
he probably loved mine if I met him.
Oh, I know, right?
He'd probably.
I'm surprised you didn't see him at the conference.
Maybe I did.
Well, he was also quite popular with the crowd. So
yeah,
Gritty's is immensely popular. Can't fault that. 20 is Louis from St. Louis. I think Louis is my favorite bear. Because the blue color matches the name of the team. Got his Stanley Cup ring last year. And I like the helmet. I like has the helmet on top of his head. So yeah, Louis is probably my favorite bear. So I like him. 19 is Nordy. I like Nordy. Because you don't know what Nordy is. Nordy is unique. You don't know what Nordy is, and of course the hockey hair, the mullet. I love that. I love the mullet. From Minnesota, the Wild. Yeah. I love the hair. I love the jersey number. You know why Nordy's jersey number is 18,001? Or have I told you why?
The capacity of the stadium.
Yes, the capacity of the arena plus him. So yeah, 18,000 fans to show up plus Nordy. So yeah, that I thought that was really cool. So I like Nordy. 18 Sabretooth from Buffalo. Like Sabretooth. Because his when the team changes colors, his color changes. So when the Sabres were like doing their black and red thing in the 90s, Sabretooth was black and red. Yeah. But then when they changed their color to the blue and yellow, Sabretooth changed color. Okay. So I thought that was unique for him to keep with the color of the team. Has the cool entrances where he like repels in on a zip line. That's cool. And I finally got a picture with him at the conference, so that was cool. 17, Spartacat from Ottawa. That's Matt's favorite. Matt likes Spartacat. He likes the Senators. I love the mane. I like Spartacat's mane. It's probably the best thing that Sparty has going for him is his mane. I like the orange mane. That's cool. I have Tommy Hawk at 16. Again, one that eventually warmed to me because I was not a big fan of Tommy at first. Mm-hmm. Especially after Chicago won their cups. He was came across very kind of arrogant, a little bit, just not majorly, but just a little bit. But then eventually, once I met him, I warmed to Tommy.
You ready to see him get like really annoyed?
That stupid song, the worst goal song in the NHL.
Love it.
I know you love it because you like the Blackhawks. Quiet, you. Stupid song. Because you play with the Blackhawks on an NHL game, and you
60.
Yes, and you love hearing that song.
Go Cubs, go!
Yeah, that was even worse. That was even worse. The fact that I had to sit in a bar and listen to that nonsense.
18 freaking times.
Yeah.
Come on, it was when the Cubs were.
I know.
I told you you'd get annoyed. I'm over here kind of falling asleep here, so I had to wake myself up.
Yeah. And now I know what it's like to wait because now I've had to wait 15 years. But, oh well.
We had to wait.
I know you had to wait longer. I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. But, yes, it was a long time. I know. But,
yeah. Cubs had to wait like, 108 years.
Right. It's just painful to watch your team suck for long periods. That's the long and short of it. But No, I eventually warmed to Tommy because he was good. He's good with the fans.
Yeah.
He's he likes either doing this number where he pulls his beak like this, like to the side, or he will chomp you, which happened to you.
I had to put his beak on my head, and the photographer said, "Oh, he wants vintage. Eat his head."
Right. I think that was Tommy's handler actually that said that, but yeah.
And he's got his beak on my head, and I'm just
right. That's perfect.
dorky, cheesy, the
right.
cheesiest.
Absolutely, yes. But no, Tommy's cool. Last one in the middle of the pack, 15, Harvey the Hound from Calgary. Harvey is the oldest mascot in the league. It was so cool to meet him in Nashville, the original. Of course, we all know the story with Harvey, the notable moment where the Oilers coach ripped his tongue out, Craig McTavish. That's the notable story. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you might not know that story. No. Okay. So let's see. I don't know exactly when it was, but the Oilers are playing the Flames. That's a big rivalry because it's Edmonton and Calgary, Canada. And
Calgary
the Flames are up big, and so Harvey's walking along the bench, cheering and doing his thing around the sideline, kind of, teasing the Edmonton bench.
Yeah.
And Coach Craig McTavish turns around, he sees him, and goes right there and just grabs Harvey's tongue and whoop, right out of his mouth.
Wow. I bet you he wasn't the coach for that much longer.
And so he's showing off the fans, he's waving it around, and then tosses it into the crowd, and he's just looking back at Harvey. Harvey's just like, just standing there like all like just just jaw dropped.
I'd have decked him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And after that, Edmonton went on to score 3 goals and won the game. After that happened, so it kind of gave his team motivation, apparently. So,
hail! You just did that to our mascot. Oh, hail!
Right.
I bet there was a lot of fights too. It's like your coach is doing that to our mascot and to us.
Right.
Fuck.
And then the game after that, the funny thing like Harvey did was like once he got like a new one, he like really tied it up and stuck it in there to make sure it wouldn't be pulled out again. So
I did just sewed it in on the.
And they probably did. After that happened, they probably did in real time.
Rip this out, asshole!
Right.
And I just said I'd have talked. Usually they don't talk in the mascot.
Right.
I'd have went up to him, hey, rip this one out. Mm-hmm,
right.
And I'd have had words.
Right. And interesting to note, and I'm sure I've said this before, Harvey is the only NHL mascot that does not wear a jersey.
Huh.
He's the only one. He
didn't
even wear a shirt. He just wears his shorts. Uh-huh. Yeah. So he's the only one that does not wear a jersey.
Okay.
Now then these top 14 are the elite of the elites. Like these are the ones that I will probably like unless something crazy happens. Yeah, I will like these forever.
14?
14 is Bernie from Colorado.
Okay.
I love the St. Bernard. I love the tie-in because with the Avalanche, the St. Bernard is the one that rescues. Yes. So it ties into that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I always tell the story of when I met Bernie in Nashville, or have I told you that story? Okay, so I meet Bernie in Nashville and getting the autographs in the mascot book and everything, and I pull out my Sharpie and he's like, he pulls one out. I'm like, oh, you came prepared. You have your own. Where did you keep that? Points right at the barrel around his neck. I'm like, oh, of course the barrel. I should have known.
This is the Colorado.
This is Bernie. Yeah, this is Bernie. So, yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, I keep it in the barrel. Like, of course, that barrel comes in handy for everything. So, so that was a neat moment with Bernie, and I've always liked him for that. So he's fun. 13, Chance from the Vegas Golden Knights. Chance was another one that kind of I had to warm to a bit because
doesn't he hit the other guy in the balls or something? Or he did. I thought it was a tradition that he punched him in the stomach or something.
No, that was the actual night. No, that's in the pregame show. The actual night mascot during the pregame show hits the guy, the opposing guy with the flag. Chance really doesn't do much of anything except he goes up in the tower and bangs the drum or hangs out with the drum line.
Yeah.
No, that's all the night. But yeah, Chance is pretty cool. I mean, I warned him eventually. When I found out what he was, at first I didn't know what he was. I was like, what is this thing? I don't even know what it is.
Isn't he a lizard or something?
Gila monster. Yeah, kind of a lizard.
Homage to Las Vegas desert.
Yes, yep, that's exactly right. And actually, the guy that I've met the guy that plays him because the guy playing Chance now used to be Rampage, and he was Rampage for the Rams when I met him at the Mascot Summit.
Okay.
So it's the same guy. So
Rampage for the Rams in the NFL?
yes. So he switched leagues and he switched cities.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder why that.
when you get an opportunity to move up or an opportunity to switch presents itself sometimes, you get recommended. If you do well enough in one job, you get moved up to another.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah. But I read that in an article on Vegas. So but that was really cool. 12 is Wild Wing. I've been
surprised you don't have him higher. As big of a Mighty Ducks fan as you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with Wild Wing, like, I was surprised he's so short. Like, I've always done how like short he was. When I met him in Nashville, like, oh my gosh, we're the same height. Like,
yeah,
like you see my picture with him, and it's like he's so short. Like, I can't believe we were the same height. But
and you have the Ducks number 2 on your follow list for.
Well, that's because I've followed them longer. You know,
Okay,
I've the Avs was my first team, Ducks was my second. So, but I'm glad. Here's the thing: I'm glad with like when the teams sold when Disney sold the team to the new owners. You know, they kept him around. They didn't. You know, they had to drop Mighty from the name, which I'm still kind of bitter about, but not fully. Like I eventually got over it. Like when it first happened, like
they had to.
Oh, I know because it was Disney. That's true.
Disney wouldn't
let him. Correct.
Mighty Ducks is
right.
So,
but I'm glad to still occasionally like bring like the throwback uniforms back, which I like. I like those.
They probably have.
I have my Ducks jersey is actually the orange jersey with the classic Duck logo because I like it so much. So,
but no, probably have to get Disney's okay to bring it back.
And of course, Wild Wing is awesome in net during the mascot showdown because he's the goalie. You know, he's awesome. 11 is Moose. I like the Moose from Winnipeg. Of course, his name is Mickey Moose, but of course they can't say that at the showdown because Disney would probably throw a fit over that too because his name is too close to Mickey Mouse.
Okay,
that's why. But that's his actual full name. He just goes by Moose at All-Star Weekend because it just says Moose on the back of his jersey.
Okay.
Now, normally it does say his full name. It does say Mickey Moose. But the cool thing about Mick is, he's actually the mascot for 2 teams. He's the mascot, yes, for the Winnipeg Jets, but he's also the mascot of the Manitoba Moose, their AHL affiliate. Huh. So he does double duty.
Okay.
So I always thought that was cool that they kind of borrowed him over from the AHL franchise when they moved from when the Thrashers were sold to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Always rest in peace, Thrash. But when they decided, we'll just use Mick. So I was like that. I thought that was cool.
I'm being called.
Yes, you're wanted.
Hello. Hello, how did you? Are you watching our stream or something?
Oh.
Okay. We're on our last topic, and he's.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm almost done.
Okay. He's got 10
I got 10 more.
To cover or something.
Yep. Then we'll be done.
He'll be done.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody watching the stream.
Yeah. Wow, that is a big delay. Yeah. I just heard you say everybody watching the stream on the other end.
Right. Huh. Okay.
I'll be home soon. Bye. Love you too. Bye.
Anywho.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Number 10, Stinger. Stinger from the Blue Jackets. I've always liked Stinger. I've always liked his look. The uniqueness again was green, but it's the name of the Blue Jackets. Mm-hmm. Interesting fun fact I learned about Stinger, and actually I found this out through Jessica, my fellow mascot friend who I tweet with here from California. Did you know there's actually a hole under Stinger's hat?
No.
There's a hole. Yeah. There's actually a video like one of the mascot showdowns where Stinger's like they're doing leapfrog, okay? Yeah. And Stinger's like this, and Sparky leaps over him and knocks his hat off, and you see this giant hole underneath.
Huh.
So I assume that's probably like for like ventilation purposes, probably.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. But you can actually, I can also see it through the hat where it's ventilated. So I just thought, whoa, that's interesting. So that was cool. But I like Stinger's look, and I told him that, he's the best Eastern Conference captain for the shutdown, which he is. 9 Iceberg, of course, love the Penguins. Iceberg is just big old goofy fluff ball penguin fun. It was great to meet him in Nashville. Of course, he's also been in a movie. I'm not sure you know that. He was in Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in the fight scene there in the arena in Pittsburgh. So the old igloo, the old Mellon Arena before their new arena. Yeah. So 8 Howler from the Coyotes. I like Howler's look. I also thought it was cool on Howler's jersey. In the corner there's an M for mascot. So he wears the M for mascot. Yeah. So I always thought that was neat. Slevin. Slevin. Can't go for 3 hours at a blooper. Lucky number Slevin.
Thoroughbred.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thoroughbred instead of thoroughfare.
That will be my all-time top.
No, assertive. I think assertive was worse. The way you looked on assertive was priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was worse. But 7 slap shot from the Washington Capitals. Yeah, because I was trying to combine 7 and slap shot. Yeah. Slap shot from the Capitals. Again, love his look, love his stunts. He also whistles like a bird. So every time you're close to him, he'll whistle. So you can hear him. So that's always cool. 6 is Sparky from the Islanders because Dragon. Hello. I love the Dragon. I love the Dragons.
Yeah.
And again, top 5. These 5 I interact with on Twitter, social media all the time. Won't change really unless something drastic changes. 5 is Nash. I've always liked Nash from the Predators. Unique look. Always good catching up with Nash. His stunts are awesome. 4, Finn from the Vancouver Canucks. I love how he sometimes emits steam from his blowhole. That's awesome. 3 is Bailey.
Wow, I'm surprised you have Bailey at 3. You hated Bailey.
I did. I did. I hated Bailey for the longest time, but here's the thing.
You thought he was an arrogant prick.
He was, but here's the thing. Like, I warmed to it. I find his sass funny. Like, the way he uses it, the sense of humor, it's funny. Like, I eventually developed a level of respect for Bailey. I didn't tell you I didn't. I have a Bailey jersey.
You did not.
I do have a Bailey jersey. I got one after Charlotte won their second cup out of respect,
Yeah.
So I
you beat him, join him.
Yeah. So I like Bailey. Bailey's worn to me, and I remember I told him at the mascot conference how he's the best mascot on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he how many followers Gritty had, and he liked that. Like, there's one picture where he's pointing right at me, like, oh yeah, I dig that. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
So Bailey warmed to me. So we have this respect now for each other. And then again, this is 1A and 1B. 1A is Sharky, 1B is Thunderbug.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given. You know how much I interact with those two on social media. You know how much I appreciate those two.
San Jose
and Tampa Bay. Yeah, those two will likely probably always be at the top because again, great on social media, great in the communities, great to catch up with. So. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Cannot debate either of those two.
I don't know if Matt and Tabby are still watching, but like this last 8 minutes, Matt asked me if we were going to talk about NASCAR.
Yes. Yeah, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring that up. Yes. Yeah. So
the last few minutes.
Well, before I had this, I actually had Pray for Newman on here.
Ryan Newman.
If you don't know, if you weren't aware, yesterday the Daytona 500 when they resumed the race after the rain delays on Sunday, on the final lap as they were coming to the line, Ryan Newman was actually in the lead. He was actually in the lead, and his teammate Ryan Blaney was giving him a push, and then Denny Hamlin came on the outside and went toward the lead. But then Newman got loose and shot across the track. So first he went head on into the wall, but that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part then is when he then flips back across the track, and Corey LaJoy, with nowhere to go, goes head on right into him at full speed on the driver's side door.
Ouch.
Yeah. And one of the spectators.
I haven't seen it. I only know because he texted me.
Yeah. So you have not seen the video. And like I told you and Matt, you only need to see it once.
And you said black screens.
Well,
did they drop flags or something?
Well, let me then explain what happened after the fact. So one of the spectators actually said, like, it felt like, imagine a semi hitting you in your door. Like that's the equivalent, 200 miles an hour. That's the equivalent of what it was getting hit.
Yeah.
And I saw like the roof like caving in. So I'm like, oh crap. Like I'm thinking the worst right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's then sliding on his roof across the track as they cross the finish line. Hamlin goes on to win like by like a few tenths of a second. Like it was the second closest finish ever over Blaney.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised they didn't caution and do a green white checker. Or was this
was so close on the last lap. Like it was in the final turn. Like it was like right before the finish line. So they really didn't have time to do that. So so then Newman's car is skidding on its roof. Sparks are coming out, the flames coming out the back, like there's fuel like pouring out.
Mm-hmm.
So the safety team quickly had to rush in, which I applaud them for doing, period.
Yeah.
Like they rushed in, they're putting the fire out. Now, granted, Denny Hamlin, he wins the race. He disconnects his radio. He's doing donuts on the track. He doesn't realize how severe the crash has been. Like he doesn't know. A lot of people criticized him and Joe Gibbs after the race for celebrating in victory lane. Because they didn't know. They didn't know how severe it was. They didn't know.
Not taken away from your win, but that's kind of a dick thing to do there, Gibbs and Hamlin.
Yeah. But
as long as they've been in the game, they ought to know, hey, I'm hearing all this chatter. Is he okay?
Considering it was happening behind them, number one.
Okay.
So he couldn't have seen it. And number two, like when he disconnected his radio pretty quickly, so then he's not hearing that scanner traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So he really could not have known.
Yeah.
But no. So then in the aftermath of that, after they put out the fire and everything, and they're doing everything with that, they quickly realize that they need to like extricate him out. Like they had to like literally like turn the car on its wheels just to get him out of the car. Yeah. And so then they had to bring in, the extrication, whatever they used to extricate. And they literally had to cut the whole side off just to get him out. And then when the ambulances when the stretcher came up with the ambulance to take him out, that's when they put the screens up because they didn't want the fans seeing. They knew that it was severe enough. They didn't want the fans seeing.
Where did they put the screens?
Like they
the fence or something?
No, the whole scene was in turn one. Like the whole thing, here's Newman's car, here's the safety team all around. They put the screens like right here. So they made sure like the crowd there didn't see it. Okay. Like they didn't want to see.
So they put screens and
like big black screens.
On the in the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They did not
know if they screened the fence.
No.
Drop screens on the fence.
No, they did not want the fans seeing him taken off. Because
No,
clearly his injuries were severe enough that they did not want them to see.
Yeah.
So, and then there was just the painful wait because they only had a brief victory lane, interview and celebration with a couple of the drivers. Granted, their concern was with Ryan.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Mike LaJoy and Jeff Gordon in the booth, and then they finally got an update or a brief update that he was taken directly to Halifax Medical Center there, and no updates been given on his condition. And
where is it's in Florida. So
it's at Daytona Beach. Yeah.
So Halifax
Medical Center. Yeah.
I wonder why it's called Halifax, because Halifax is a Nova Scotia town.
Or Virginia.
Yeah.
But anyway, and what got me is like Jeff Gordon is speaking like so subdued, like, and getting like choking back tears. My first thought was, he knows something that we don't know.
That's because him and Newman were buddies.
I know that, and I get that, but everyone's thought on Twitter was like, oh, does he know something that we don't?
Is he getting something in his ear?
Exactly.
Saying, hey, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. So it really is what caught me in that moment. Like, oh crap, this could be really bad.
Yeah.
And then there was just the wait. Like we knew nothing for like a good 2 hours. Like, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what is taking them so long? In that moment, you really fear the worst. And then finally they come on at about I think it was like 6:30 Eastern, 2 hours after the fact, and they come on and they say, we're going to read a statement from Roush Family Racing on behalf of the family. Ryan Newman was taken to Halifax. He's in serious condition, but his injuries are non-life threatening. That was the big relief.
At least not now.
At least not now. Yes. And today actually they gave an update that actually he is awake. He is awake. He is talking to doctors. He is talking to family.
Nice.
Which is incredible. Yeah. Considering how bad it looked.
Unless they find something, unless he has something that they don't know about,
right.
He's good.
Yeah. Which is, again, incredible. But
have they said, will he race anymore?
They have not said that yet.
At all.
Yeah, they have not.
Obviously, he'll probably retire from the season.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you think, even though the NASCAR season is 10 months long, it's probably going to take him that long to rehab.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Easy.
Yeah. But, I was going to say, like, NASCAR has come a long way in terms of safety.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were aware that on this day 19 years ago, we lost Dale Earnhardt. Today.
Oh.
Yeah. 19 years ago today. So, imagine the coincidence that would have been if we had lost Ryan one day before that.
Yeah.
That would have just been even more depressing.
Yeah.
So thank God that he's alive and that he didn't.
And they're probably going to do some revamps to the car to adjust.
They will. And they've said it, and Ryan Newman has said as much. Ryan Newman has survived even crashes, similar to that when he flipped and rolled like crazy at Daytona.
They need to either decrease the banking or something at Daytona, or they need to.
Well, it's the restrictor plate races. They go so fast, the restrictor plate races, and that's what gets them in the air when they get hit.
Well, the restrictor plates are supposed to slow them down.
Exactly, but apparently they don't enough.
Either that, or they need to address the
spoilers or the spoilers. Yeah,
to create more downforce. Because then does a spoiler create more downforce?
It should. No, it should. A spoiler should keep you from going in the air.
Yeah.
But it's happened to Newman so many times.
They need to readjust the flaps that go up when you spin. There's flaps that go up on the top of the car. They need to.
Yeah. Because again, there's no one at fault in this. Let's be clear. There's no one at fault.
No.
Blaney was devastated. Blaney and LaJoie are both devastated. They were like crestfallen. Like Blaney was just pushing him to the front, and because he got him loose, but he was just trying to get into the front. He was just doing a thing to get into the front.
Yeah.
And didn't know he would get loose. And LaJoie had nowhere to go. Like if you watch the video, Corey LaJoie has nowhere to go. Like it's just smoke in front of him. Corey LaJoie even said today on Good Morning America, I didn't even know who I hit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know
because no maliciousness.
No
nothing. It was just kind of like that guy. Sorry to bring this up, but kind of like that guy that Tony Stewart hit. Everybody's
Kevin Ward.
Jail for murder.
Yeah.
He had no chance to freaking slow down when the dude got out of the damn car.
No, he didn't.
Tony Stewart even said.
Or kind of like the people that sent death threats to Sterling Marlin after the Earnhardt wreck because Marlin got him loose. And Ken Schrader was like, "Hey, knock that off." Because he had nowhere to go. There was nothing that could have been done about that. So stop sending Sterling Marlin. Schrader was the one that got collected in the crash with Earnhardt when Earnhardt hit the wall. Yeah. Schrader got caught up in it, but Marlin got him loose.
Yeah.
And Schrader's like, no, knock that crap off. Stop sending Sterling Marlin death threats.
Yeah. It's bold.
It was. So
I mean, and you know what? I'm sorry that Dale Earnhardt passed away. I really am. But you know what? He was wearing that Hans device, which was not mandatory at the time, but most racers were smart enough to wear it. He might still be alive.
Right, that's
true. If he
had
taken the safety precautions that they had in place, although ups to NASCAR for making it mandatory.
Yes.
You don't wear,
Yes.
you don't race. They should have in the first place, but nothing had ever happened like that. How the hell were they to know?
Right.
But you know what? They were still in place and optional. I'm not, well, in fact, I'm almost sure he would still be alive because wasn't it Denny Hamlin or somebody? I forget who had a very, very similar crash 2 years, 2 years after or something.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear on the radio, I'm okay. Same crash.
Right. Very similar. Yeah. Very similar angle. Yeah.
But they, granted, they had the more safer barriers.
Yes.
They had the safer
that too.
barriers
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
But you know what? It was the same exact crash.
Right.
Hit the wall head on. He was wearing his Hans.
Yep.
He survived.
Yeah. So you have to applaud NASCAR for the improvements they made to that, the improvements made to the cars themselves.
Yeah.
That's why Ryan Newman, I think, is still alive today.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So, we would have been remiss if we had not at least talked about that to some extent.
To wrap it up.
Yeah. So, we are very thankful for that he's alive. The Purdue community is thankful that he's alive. He's a Purdue grad. He got an engineering degree. Yes. The South Bend community, from where he's from, is very grateful for that. So, and of course, the racing community is grateful. So, absolutely. So, all right. We have run the
Tony
game.
Stewart from South Bend, too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
he's probably happy, too.
Oh, for sure.
Grew up with him.
Absolutely. So,
yeah. Okay.
I know it's one of the longest ones. We covered a lot in 3 hours, but we spent, of course, half of that reminiscing on Indiana Beach because, again, that was the big story. That was what we had to do. But I'm glad that we did because, it enabled us to get it off our chest and get it out.
Yeah.
It won't be the same, but we'll remember the good times. We'll have that.
We'll figure out something.
We will. I know we will. And I know that those were affected for their vacations affected. I'm sure will as well. Yeah. So we're going to wrap this one up. Yeah. So for AppleDash, I'm Spiky Dash. See you on the next stream.
More convention news as we can.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. As that gets closer. TTM is coming this Friday. Next bracket projection as well.
Okay.
So more streams to come. So as well. See you on the next one. God bless. Good night.